So they mean the Son of God, the second person of the triune God, and who died for your sins. In Islam, that's outrageous. Muslims detest Paul more than anything. Muslims hate Paul more than Jews do.
Shalom to you, peace of Christ to all of you. Here we see how and why the Muhammadan and those wicked false Jews are united in their hate. Did you hear what this coward, rat, hamster just said? Jews and Muslims, they hate Paul. Muslims, they even hate Paul more than Jews. Did you hear it? This is just for a snack. Let us hear it one more and go and do more spanking.
And who died for your sins. In Islam, that's outrageous. Muslims detest Paul more than anything. Muslims hate Paul more than Jews do.
And then, guys, the topic here in this video is Jesus of Islam is the same as a Christianity, but the coward will not dare to say is Christ in Islam, because then he will offend the Muslims and he will say he's not. So this wicked false rabbi, because he's a coward son of Muta, his mother is a whore obviously, he did not dare to say, the Muslims say, well, this is the Christ. He is the Christ. Well, this is what the Quran says. But you, all your video is about, he is not a Christ. So how come now you are defending Islam and saying Muslims don't believe in the same Messiah? What are you talking about, Abdul? In your stupid videos, you said that the Christian believe in the virgin birth of Jesus, which is a Greek mythology. But if we go in the Quran, the son of Mut'a Muhammad, like you, who nobody knows his father, stated clearly that Mary, she was a virgin. لم يمسني بشر سويا. And I challenge you, you coward son of Mut'a, to come online and say, you know what, Muhammad is a donkey, he don't speak Hebrew. The word there doesn't say virgin, doesn't mean anything about virgin. This is the Quran, and you are a potato, you are a coward. So why you don't say to the Muslims your prophet lied? You don't dare. Because you are a coward, you are doing business in Indonesia, and you live between their testicles. So if they move their legs tight on you, they will smash you and your business will close. And you, as a person who loves God, not money, business come first, not God. So why you don't dare? And I challenge the son of Mut'a to come online and say, make a short video, say Muhammad was false prophet when he said that Mary, she was a virgin, she gave birth to Jesus. Do you dare? In other video, this potato, a Jewish young Jew, he asked him, the Christian, they say that the Muslim, they are pagan, they kiss black stone. Isn't it this is paganism? Look what this potato said.
They should worship that stone, or by touching it, all their sins are forgiven. And the answer is no.
No. So the Muslims don't believe that they are worshiping stone, or by touching it, their sin is forgiven. I don't know how many lies I have to get you busted with. Here we go. Potato. I'm going to make you shish kebab, you coward. You know, the funny I post in his channel, I say, you coward potato. What about we debate? Call me. Let me call you. Either you call me or let me call you live on your program. And you will see. So, brothers and sisters, he is defending the Muslims. Suddenly, the Jews are in love with Muslims. They love Prophet Muhammad, who killed a lot of Jews. And he said the most evil people in the world, according to the Quran, is Jews. Now I will show you the verses. And Muhammad, he says, the most close to you and nice people to you is those who they call themselves Christian, and I will show you the verses. Now let us go and see if touching the black stone erase sin according to Muslims and according to Muhammad. Bingo. By the way, when you speak like a hamster, and let me predict, you will not live long, because the Lord will strike you with something in your heart or your chest. Hardly you can talk. Maybe because you are too much eating food from the money you smuggle. Abu Abdul Rahman, why do I only see you touching these two corners? He said, I heard the Messenger of Allah say, touching them erase sins. To weave a singer, he is between the Jew now. He is expert in Islam. The Christians are lying. The Muslims, when they touch the stone, they don't believe their stones erase their sin. They don't. It's a lie. It's a lie. Ask me. I live between Muslims and I eat falafel with them. And I defend Muhammad, who killed all the Jews in the Arabian Peninsula. And he raped their women. Say it again, potato, son of Mut'ah.
The answer is no.
So, for what?
The answer is no.
What?
That stone, or by touching it, all their sins are forgiven. And the answer is no.
No.
It's always a good thing is to talk to Muslims. Very large Muslim.
And by the way, I just searched this video, by the way, before I go live. I mean, I don't prepare, honestly. I just went because I want to refute Tovia Singer from Tovia Singer. Why I want to debate Tovia Singer if I can bring Tovia Singer himself to debate Tovia Singer? So let us see how this will work. The answer is no, brother. What's wrong with you? It's clear. The rabbi, I mean, here we go. It's in front of you. It's good to talk to the Muslims. Ask the Muslims. The Muslim will say to you, no, we don't worship the black stone. Oh, no. The black stone that erase our sin. Here we go. I heard him who? Muhammad, saying, whoever go around them 7 times, whoever touching them, it erase his sin. Who is the one saying that? Muhammad. And this is a good hadith. Hassan. Hassan is one of the grandsons of Muhammad, according to the Muslim, both Sunni and Shia. And Hassan means very good. Hassan, I mean, the name of a man, the grandson of Muhammad, Hassan and Hussein, which both mean the same. Maybe Hassan mean da'if. Now we go to this video here, which I found it very laughable.
If you enjoy these programs, please like and subscribe.
I like it very much. You coward. And by the way, I posted comment there in the comment. Where is the comment for the video? I don't know why it's not showing. Where is the comment? I don't know why there's no comment. I posted a comment for him, and I called him son of a whore. I'm going to teach you how to behave. You can go and see it. And you will see the Muslims, by the way, so proud in the comment about to wave a singer. But we just heard him saying that Muslims and Jews, they share a lot of hate against Christianity, and especially Paul. So now this guy, he met an ex-Muslim, which make him more struggling, because he is not only a Christian, he is an ex-Muslim. And you will notice here in the video, the Surat, he is not even posting the video as it is. Right away you will see the editing. You know, like if we go, if we have a match. I remember once somebody, a Muslim, he wanted to convert me to Islam. And at that time I was like maybe 18, 19 years old. So they put for me a video of that, you know. And the video have Arabic translation, not it's like, you know, a subtitle. But then when I'm reading, you know, I know my English is not really that much, but I understand a little bit. and I'm reading the subtitle. And I noticed when I'm watching the video that the answer of the priest have nothing to do with the question of the dad. And then after we finished, I said, they asked me, what do you think? You know, they thought like I would be embarrassed or like, wow, you know. So I said, but didn't you notice there is something wrong in this tape? He said, the Muslim guy, he said, what? He said, well, if I ask you, how old are you? Do you tell me I'm going to do grocery? They edited the tape. So we played the tape again and he agreed. He said, there's no way this was an answer for what this guy said. So they cut and they edited the tape. Totally edited. And this is exactly what this rat, he did. However, even with the editing, we will get him busted. Go.
Right.
I'm answering, and you don't seem to want the answer because you want your idolatry. So let's think about it. Where does it say that?
Remember, he is talking about adulteries. But a second ago, he was defending the Muslim kissing the black stone and believing in the black stone erasing their sin. And this is for him is not adultery. Adultery. Do you see the hypocrisy? So worshiping Jesus is adultery. Why?
God wants to arouse jealousy among the Jews. You said it, and I'm asking for a source. And when you
Oh, he don't believe in that. There's nowhere in the Bible it says God will invoke jealousy between, nowhere. You know, what a scam you are. You know, he claimed to be a rabbi. And he claimed that he knew his book by heart. But you will notice every 2 seconds he have to search for what he say in his phone. Every 2 seconds. And this is why he is doing anything for the video. So if we go in Roman, we will see like this new Christian. Actually, I appreciate him very much, by the way. He have a great knowledge, even though he is an ex-Muslim and new Christian. Still, he have a good knowledge. And this potato, son of Muta, the rabbi, false rabbi, he was editing the video to make himself like he is winning. But we will show you from his own words how stupid he is. So if we go in the Bible, actually, let me see in Deuteronomy chapter 32, where it says that to the people of Israel, have made me jealous with what is no God. They have provoked me to anger with their idols. Let me get the verses. Hold on. Just to show you that actually the Bible condemned the Jews always. They are idols worshippers. And they claim to be, like if they are rabbis, that mean they are people of God. But in fact, how many times the Bible, even those verses, he is the one is questioning where we can find them. Are you sure? You know, it confirmed that those rabbis are idols worshippers. So we go to the Bible. Let me get the verses. I'm typing in Arabic. Can you believe it? Let us switch the language. Garbage in, garbage out. What you gonna do when I come to you? So this is the Bible, and we will go now. Let us make the page small so we can show it in the screen. Give me a second. Where we can find it? Where we can find it? Where? Like, why? We cannot find it. Like, where, man? Where? Like, where? Like, where? Huh? Where? Yeah. So anyway, but what is the verse is about? The Jews, they sacrifice into the devils, not to God. Do you see it? So when somebody he claimed to be a rabbi, and then he claimed that he is worshiping the true God, you cannot trust this rabbi, because those other rabbis condemned by the God of the Bible, and this is what is written in the book he approved, not in the New Testament. They give sacrifice to the devils, not only to false gods, not only to idols, even to the devils. Read it. It's in the front of you. In verse number 16 and verse number 21. What a foolish nation. A foolish nation. And now we will show you that this man is a foolish man. And he belonged to a foolish nation of the synagogue of the devil. Let us continue. And you will notice here how the editing working. He don't continue even in the topic. He jumped from place to place like a monkey. Go.
You're tired of looking for it, I'll tell you where it is.
Let's move.
Where does it say that?
Paul says.
Where?
You don't know Paul.
Oh no, I never heard of it.
Oh, where Paul, he said, in Roman, where Paul said. But aren't you, okay, and you are a person who keeps saying to the guy, don't quote for me, Paul. Suddenly, where Paul said that, and he said that. Where?
You tell me about it, I'm southern.
You quote from Paul.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so you know Paul.
But he doesn't say that.
Is it hard?
Paul, he did not say that. He did not say that. Are you sure? Oh, let's go to the looks for those. It doesn't exist in the Old Testament, brother. Oh boy. All right. If we go to Roman 11, don't change topic, guys. Focus with me. We are not talking here about earthquake and potato and tomato. So what? God, it can happen by natural, or even, countries who claim to be Christian, they can be struck by earthquake too, because a lot of people, they are fornicators, liars, Christian by names. So I don't blame God if he burn all those countries, Muslims and Christian countries, because, but God is merciful. As you know, like in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, even if there is like few left and they are righteous, God will not destroy the city. Otherwise, all those countries deserve to be destructed. The whole world need to be burned. We need the flood of Noah again to cleanse all the garbage of this world. A lot of garbage. So look here, this guy, he claimed that it doesn't say that in the Bible. Where? It doesn't say. He did not say that. If we go and we will read the following. And the funny is, he tried to cut the video pieces so people will not even understand what they are debating about. You notice that right away. Otherwise, why you don't play the video as it is? How people will know even what is the question? What is how we arrived to this point? He cut the videos. Anything he will look supposedly bad, he cut it off, and now he kept only what will make him look smart. So now he is hitting like in the head with the nail. Like, where it says that, where it's in front of you, here we go. Revoke them into jealousy. Do you see the coward? Shall we continue? I mean, how many times I will spank you in 5 seconds? The Muslims don't believe that the black stone erased their sin, but they don't. Well, yeah, okay.
Hard to hear that some Gentiles say that I believe in God of Israel through Jesus.
Yes, I want more for you. I'm not a bigot. What's not to love about the Jews?
Now look at his face. Look at his evil face when he is talking. And soon you will see how he called Jesus a dog. And the Muslims, they love him for saying that in the comment. If you go down in the comment of that video, you will see how many Muslims. Let me see if I can. I don't know why. What is the reason the comment is not appearing? Give me a second. Maybe I can make it appear if I change the size of the page. Let us see. Because for some reason the comment is not coming. Maybe now. Here we go. Look how many Muslims are worshipping him. I am a Muslim, but I cannot love Rabbi to weave a singer great knowledge. He meant like he cannot like express how much he love him. And to weave a singer give him like and love. Do you see that the heart? And here you notice that this to weave a singer is denying Christ to come. Yet the Muslims support him because both of them, they are the Antichrist. I am a Muslim, another Muslim. I have nothing but respect and love for Rabbi Tovia. He just denied the Quran, all of it, and he just told them that the Messiah is not the Messiah and Muhammad is a fraud. Yet the Muslim, they say, I love the Rabbi. Because as long as he don't say word by word, Muhammad is a fraud, he's fine. As long as he don't say it, he is perfect. All those are Muslims. As a former Christian, this guy is a former Christian. I cannot thank God enough for opening my eyes and truth. And you will notice, I'm a Muslim. I loved Rabbi Tovia singer. I'm a Muslim. I'm a Muslim. The Muslims loved him. The comment is all over the place. As a Muslim, I appreciate your Rabbi always. May Allah SWT guide him. Now we go back to the video so we can laugh and see how this rat, he will get himself busted by his own words. How we can make it small again? Give me a second. Okay, looks like we have to do it this way. All right, that's fine. And look now what this filthy coward will say about Jesus.
In book of Daniel, Daniel saw in his dream someone carrying to the
I'm not going to help you here.
I'm not going to help you.
image of man.
I don't think you're a second. You're not a dog.
You didn't invite
You
me.
asked me a question. It's a fair question. When I see a dog drinking from a toilet, I go, well, it's a dog. You're not a dog. You're creating the image of God. You can do better than Jesus.
You are not a dog. You are created as the image of God. You can do better than Jesus. Did you hear him, Christians? This filthy coward animal calling Jesus dog. You are not a dog. You can do better than Jesus. If we say, if we question, who can do better than Jesus, you filthy? Aren't you so mad and upset because all your nation already they become Christians and nothing left? Few millions? Isn't it this is what make you upset? Not a single Jew convert to Islam. Millions of Jews converted already to Christianity. And this is why you hate Jesus so much. So you can do better than Jesus. How many Christian you made them Jew? You cannot even convert a Christian to Judaism. Judaism don't accept. But now because they are bankrupt, they are accepting even from anywhere, from Somalia, anyone. You know that all of us, we know you cannot convert to be a Jew. The children of Israel are the children of Israel. It's not by conversion. But because they are bankrupt, and he is calling Jesus a dog. Well, as long you are calling Jesus a dog, what do you call yourself when you defend Muhammad who killed the Jews in all your videos? What do you call yourself when you defend Muhammad, the one who said that the most evil people in the world are the one who call themselves Jews? Read with me. What do you give yourself a rank for somebody? He defend the one who killed, who raped, who tortured, he expelled, he did every, and not only that, he said it clearly that every single Jew must be killed. Chapter 5, verse number 82. Look what Muhammad says about the Jews. This is not Paul. How come they don't hate Muhammad? Did Paul say kill the Jews? Well, he is a Jew. He's a big rabbi. He never said kill the Jews. He never said hate the Jews. He's a Jew. So they defend the one who said the strongs among men in enmity to the believers whether thou find Jews and pagans. Do you see it? And nearest among them in love to the believers is those who call themselves Christians. So how this filthy son of Muta defend Muhammad unless he is a dog? Are you with me? Do you believe a man who have any honor, he will defend someone like Muhammad and he is a Jew? What do you think? No way. And by the way, this verse here proves Muhammad again to be satanic. Why? Because in one hand he said the Christians are bad and they are evil, and now he's saying the most people who like you and care for you, they are the Christians. In one verse he says that being a monk is a fabrication, it's satanic, and here he says monks are good people. Read it in front of you. Because among them these are men, devoted men. Who are they? In Arabic it says قسيسين ورهبان. The translation, by the way, is false. قسيسين mean a priest. Ruhban mean monks. Monks. In the same stupid book, the son of Mut'a Muhammad, he claimed that being a monk is a fabrication, is a Buddha, which means a fabrication. Jesus did not order them that. Because among them, read carefully, that because among them is a priest and monks, and they are humble. If we go to a different verse in the Quran, we are mixing between Islam and Tovia Sangar just to show you why this person is not even considered to be a dog. You know? He don't dare to say to Muhammad and Muhammadan, Jesus was not son of a virgin, and Muhammad is a liar. But because the Christians are very friendly, so he's brave. Those, they will not harm me. I live in a Muslim country most of the time. Here we go, we see Muhammad saying, رهبانية ابتدعوها. What the heck? And by the way, according to Muhammad, even Mary, she was a nun. In chapter 57, it says that those who they make themselves monks, this is their own fabrication. In the other verse, he says they are good. Anyway, we go back to the video of this rat, the weaver singer, shall we? But remember here, he said to the man that you are created in the image of God. I want you to take note of that. He what said? He said, you are created in the image of God. You are not a dog. Few minutes after, he will say, God is not a man. Just a few minutes after, he will say the opposite. He will say, God is not a man. Here, when he's insulting Jesus, he said to the guy, remember, you are created in the image of God. 2 minutes after, he will say, God is not a man.
Carrying to the
I'm not going to help you here.
okay,
You're going to have to work this one out.
image of man.
I don't think you're second. You're not a dog.
You didn't invite
You
me.
asked me a question. It's a fair question. When I see a dog drinking from a toilet, I go, well, it's a dog. You're not a dog. You're creating the image of God. You can do better than Jesus.
In the minute 106, he said, take a note. In the minute 106 in his video, he says, you are created in the image of God. 2 minutes after, he will say, God is not a man. Just to deny that Jesus can be God. God is a man. Listen carefully. Skip the intro.
The Ruach HaKadosh was, hovering above the depth of waters, depth of, in the Bereshit. So, and God spoke. Listen, God spoke, and the Word of God with the Spirit of God created everything.
Yes.
And is it
Don't say that
okay.
God is a man.
Is
Because
it
once you say that, you're
is
going
it
to
different?
Don't say God is a man. Did you hear him? Guys, did you hear him? He just said, don't say God is a man. It's not even 20 seconds. It's not even 20 seconds after he said, remember, you created in the image of God. You're a man. You are created in the image of God. Less than 20 seconds after he said, don't say God is a man. I want to hear it again. Go.
I don't think you're second. You're not a dog.
You didn't invite
You
me.
asked me a question. It's a fair question. When I see a dog drinking from a toilet, I go, well, it's a dog. You're not a dog. You're creating the image of God. You can do better than Jesus.
You can do better than Jesus. You are created in the image of God. 20 seconds after. Don't say God is a man. What's wrong with you?
The Ruach HaKadosh was, hovering above the depth of waters, depth of, in the Bereshit. So, and God spoke. Listen, God spoke, and the Word of God with the Spirit of God created everything.
Yes.
And is it
Don't say that
okay.
God is a man.
Is
Because
it
once you say that, you're
is
going
it
to prove the God of
difficult
Israel.
to say?
Don't say that God is a man, because when you say that, you have to prove that God is a man. Now, how a Christian prince is going to prove that? Christian prince, he cannot do that. He's so slow. Let me scratch my head, scratch something else. I cannot tell you what. Oh, what about we get to Weaver Singer to refute to Weaver Singer about God is a man? Who can do better job? Shall we invite to Weaver Singer to refute to Weave Singer about if God is a man or not. He just said to the guy, don't say God is a man, because if you say that, what? This is the same donkey in different video
And he literally turns to God and he's
talking about God is a man. The same guy. The same guy. Not his mother, not his stepfather, not the one who fornicate with him. This is the same guy speaking about God is coming to Abraham as a man. Yes, brother. Don't say God is a man. Shall I play from the beginning? I don't know what to play. Let us see. Let us see. Hold on. The video is long, so we need to.
that is not God is God, because we are not using the language of Scripture. But in order to in fact understand the Bible, we actually have to toss away our convention, our the way we speak today, and just completely abandon it and replace that with how does the Bible speak? How does Scripture speak about people or angels or anything that reflects God? I mean, after all, even King Solomon.
Okay, let's move a little bit, because I want to see when he talk about how God came as a man to Abraham and what Abraham did. Remember, God is not a man.
God in 2 Samuel chapter 7.
Okay, hold on.
Very great nation, and God comes to visit you. There you are sick. And what happens? And you see in the distance, and this is what happens to Abraham. He sees in the distance 3 men.
He see what? What Abraham he saw? God is coming to Abraham. And who are they? How God is coming? God is coming to Abraham. Abraham, he see 3 men. Remember.
And what happens?
What happened? What? Oh, hold on. What happened? What happened? What are you talking about? Let me go back a little bit so we can don't skip.
You're sick. He loves you. He's already promised you that through you is going to come a very great nation. God comes to visit you.
God come to visit you. Don't say God is a man. Listen, Christians, don't say God is a man. And now God is coming to visit Abraham. How God he come to visit Abraham? As a man.
There you are sick. And what happens? And you see in the distance, and this is what happens to Abraham. He sees in the distance 3 men. That's what the Bible says. Shloisha Anoshim, 3 men. He has no idea who they are. They're almost certainly idol worshippers. He was pretty much alone in the world as a monotheist. They're complete strangers to him. And he literally turns to God and he says, and I'm paraphrasing.
God, he turned to where? He turned to God. Remember, he just told the Christian, don't say God is a man. So, Tovia, what happened? What happened? Is it true that Abraham told God, hey, God, just wait, I have to make some coffee? Tell us about it.
Could you wait a moment? Don't leave. I've got to take care of that.
You see? Now it's possible. But if it's Jesus, no way. I mean, Abraham saying to God, wait, don't leave. He just don't move, okay? I'm coming back. I'm coming back. The Jews have no problem with this story, but Jesus, what is God? Wait, what? Okay, hold on. So, if I ask you, Tovia, how you know that Jesus is not the same man who come to Abraham and he's coming again? Do you have any proof? As long God come as a man and he is a man, and you told the Christian, don't say God is a man, and now you are saying, well, God came as a man, and even Abraham, he made him wait because he had something to do. How come you are sure that this is not Jesus? Isn't it the Bible says in the Old Testament that he will make the blind see? He will make miracles nobody did? Let us continue. And look at this smile, brother. He's talking like, he's so excited. He claimed that he belonged to Abraham. You know what Jesus says about those people? If you are of Abraham, if you are the children of Abraham, you do the work of your father. But look at your work. This guy, he don't strike in Jerusalem for the biggest festival of homosexual in the world. He don't. Those Jewish Orthodox rabbis, they go and they hide like rats in their holes when the festival is all over. But they go in the street and they spit at the Christians. They spit at the Christians. The biggest festival of homosexuality, inviting Muslims too from Muslim worlds, all the queer of Muslims, all the lesbian, all the homo coming to Jerusalem from Saudi Arabia, from Jordan, from Syria, from Iraq, from Europe, from America. You will not see this guy in the street. But they go to school the Christians. This is how hypocrite you are. Do you dare to make a video against homosexuality, Rabbi? Do you don't? Let us continue what happened between Abraham, and then remember, God is not a man according to this guy. And now he is telling us an amazing story, how God as a man come to Abraham, and Abraham made him wait.
Turns to God, he says, and I'm paraphrasing, could you wait a moment?
Really? You are paraphrasing? You phrasing? You are rephrasing now? Are you adding verses to the Bible now? Is that what, like you can add the verses? I thought you are against corruption. I'm paraphrasing again. He said, God, wait, just wait. Play with the kids. Play with the kids.
Don't leave. I've got to take care of them.
Don't leave.
I mean, that tells you who does that. Would you do that? Would you, if God came to you and you saw not 3 friends or 3 business partners or 3 people that whatever you want to impress or your sister-in-law, you saw 3 complete strangers, would you say, God, please don't leave me because I have to take care of this? Abraham does that. I mean, who does that? By the way, I want to just for a moment, before we go into this, in truth, who really behaves that way?
Who is that? Only Abraham. A Muslim saying to us in the chat, his name Hijab. Go change your name so we can put your comment in the chat. Otherwise, I will block you. Son of Muta. I will put your comment. He said in John 17, verse number 3, Jesus refuted Christianity. You son of Muta, in the same verses you will see that Jesus is the one who have the everlasting life to give. Jesus is the one who have the power over the flesh. Is the one who believe in Jesus as the Son who was with the Father before the whole world. You Muslims are sons of Muta like this guy. You cut a verse, you don't even read the whole verse. Because sons of Mutas, their mother, she have orgasm in the bar. It was so fast and no witnesses should be seen. Otherwise, if you are a man, pause the verse number 1 and verse number 2 and the verse number 17:3 and verse number 17:4. But the Muslims are like a kangaroo. They jump, boing, boing, boing. He stopped like 17:3, 17:3. It's like, when they go to the casino. And they play and they throw those stones. I don't know what they call them. They throw those stones and the stone flip between the valley. You know which valley I'm talking about? The vagina, which is going to be fit for the penis of the Muslim man in heaven, which is endless penis. I don't know how big the vagina of your mother will be. Ask Mohammed. fit for such a penis. This is the language they understand. So if you are offended, leave. You speak to them nice, they think you are weak. You speak to them aggressive, they say, this is not how a Christian talk. You speak as a Christian, they say to you, stupid Christians, let us make fun of you. You spank the hell of them, they say to you, is that what Jesus taught you? Huh? Is that what Jesus taught you? To talk like this? What the heck? So if we speak as Jesus taught us, you wanna make fun of us. If we speak not like Jesus taught us, you cry. You ask us, please come back to Jesus. They make fun of you to leave Jesus. The second you start spanking them, they say to you, what's wrong with you, man? What are you doing? This is not what Jesus taught you. Please go back to Jesus. The Christians who are following Jesus is not the Christian, the nice Christians we want. Stop being nice to them. The Bible said, don't throw your jewels under the feet of the pigs. Do you understand? The pigs. He did not even use the word camel. We are speaking to pigs. Literally. Because if you act like one, behave like one, you are a pig. A pig actually a very useful animal. Do you know that every stitches of every wound in the world, surgery, is done by the flesh of pigs? If not them, actually millions of people would die because of insulin. Pigs are very useful. What is the use of this idiot? What is the use of Muhammad? What he brought? Insulin? Well, pigs is the one who brought insulin. Hundreds of millions of people, their life depend on pigs, literally. And the funny, by the way, Muhammad, he said in the hadith that everything he forbid because Allah told him there's no benefit of it. I don't want to mix between Tovia Singer and Muhammad, but both of them, they are rats. Let me see if I can find the hadith in English. I need to remember it first. You see, there's not millions of hadith like in my head, but I have to, like, something have to come and you have a box full of like storage, so something have to come and move the memory. Let us see. Just to prove to you that Muhammad is a fraud like this guy. Let us see. I'm trying to remember the hadith, like word by word, but we will go back to that later, because I'm trying to remember really. This is, I did not use this hadith for like a century ago. But the meaning of the hadith, that everything is forbidden by Allah and His Prophet is forbidden because there is no benefit of it. And that's why I wanted to show it to you. I will find it later. So here, if we go back to the video of this guy who is saying to the man, don't say that God is a man. He himself, in different video, is speaking and he is so excited about God coming as a man. Now, as long the Jews agree, and this is a person who present the synagogue of Satan, they agree that God come in the image of the man already. So what will prevent God from coming in the image of a man again? I don't want to mention that Jesus said, Abraham saw my day, and he was speaking to the Jews. They said to him, how Abraham saw your day and you are not even 50 years old? He said, truly, truly, I say to you that Abraham saw my day and he rejoiced for it. Because before Abraham I am. So now the question is, what will make Jesus not God? Now this guy, he will prove to you that Jesus, the prophecies about Jesus are false. Those are not about Jesus. This is about someone else.
In spirit.
Do you hear what I'm
Same spirit. With the word of God.
You're
Dwell
not
someone.
listening at all.
No, I'm
You
just asking
cannot.
everyone.
Don't go to war with the God of Israel. God says, I'm not a man.
My God.
Listen up.
Hashem is my God.
The Torah is our authority, our only authority, not you. The Torah says that God is not a man. V'gam netzach Yisrael lo yishaker.
Guys, do you see how he lied? He said that God is not a man, but what the verse he's quoting is not about he's not a man. It's about he don't change. And this is not about changing his mind. What mind? What do you mean change his mind? Don't God, if we go with the word mind they use. But he did not even, you see in the video, he did not mention this because he was trying to deceive the Christian. Supposedly he is quoting reference and he is speaking in Hebrew. And he asked the guy, by the way, do you speak Hebrew? So don't tell me. This is like maybe Hijab, Elijah, God with us. So he was saying to him, God is the man. And look, he himself is quoting the verse, put it in the front of us on the screen, and this is his translation. God, moreover, the glory of Israel does not deceive or change his mind, for he is not a human that he should change his mind. What does it mean about change his mind? What exactly meant by the word change his mind? I will go with the translation they are using. Didn't God send Israel to be doomed? Isn't it God? He punished Israel for idolatry. Isn't it God? He made them lose their way in the desert. Isn't it Isaiah? Isn't it the prophet? They were praying to God for forgiveness for what the Jews did. Isn't it First King? Speaking about them, what they did and how they did. In the book of Kings, horrible history. So here he is trying to, and by the way, here you notice, okay, how we jump to this point. There is something missing in the video. Do you notice that? What is the connection? How we arrive here? And if the point is to say he is not a human, that is a false translation. It says God is not a man. What a human. And we showed you the same verse or the same man quoting the story of how God came to Abraham. Did he came as a human? I will go with the word human. When he was excited speaking about how God came to Abraham as a man, was he a human at that moment? Or he was made of wax, like the one we see in the museum? And about the change in the mind, this is about the promise of God to the people of Israel. But the promise is made for people who deserve it. God did not change his mind. Jews had changed their mind. When the Bible says, my people destroyed because of their ignorance, what ignorance we are talking about? They associate with idol worshipper, they worship idol, and not only that, they give sacrifice, they give offering to pagan gods. Let us continue.
Ki loy odam hu li'inochen. What is ki loy odam hu? That God is not a man that he'll change his mind. The Torah says that. And you are at war with these words. So therefore, I want to say this.
I'm quoting
I
from
want to
Malachi.
say the.
Malachi. Book of
I
Malachi.
want to
Okay?
say this to you. The
Is it
Torah.
written?
Let's
Let
answer.
God up. The same God that you are waiting suddenly come to his house, written in Malachi.
Yes.
How God come to his house suddenly?
Why? How could God
Okay.
appear to Abraham?
Is Isaiah 9?
Guys, why God cannot come to Abraham? Okay, why God cannot come to you? As long it is possible that God, the same as he come to Abraham, and he is saying why God cannot come to Abraham. The Christian is not even questioning that. He's saying to him, God came to Abraham. Go.
Didn't God appear to Abraham?
God said that I will give you.
question. I asked you a
I'll
question.
give you a
How
sign.
did God appear to
The
Abraham?
virgin will be pregnant. Is it written in Isaiah or not?
No, it's not.
No.
Do you read Hebrew? Do you speak Hebrew?
Okay.
Guys, do you speak Hebrew? But after 2 minutes he will say, not every Jew he says something you believe him. So in one hand, the one who speak Hebrew, he have the upper hand. But if other Jew don't agree with him, he don't speak Hebrew, obviously. He's the only one who speak Hebrew. Do you speak Hebrew? Abdul, so you are teaching the Jews about what Mohammed teach. Do you speak Arabic? Do you read Arabic? Do you know Aramaic? What the heck? This guy is a scholar in Islam. He was teaching them that the Muslims don't believe that kissing black stone and touching black stone erase their sin. No, no. This is a lie the Christian they made.
Touching it, all their sins are forgiven. And the answer is no.
The answer is no. I mean, this guy is fluent in all languages. He is like the Hussein, the grandson of Muhammad. He speaks 75 million languages. He's like Ali. He was in Japan and China and Iraq in the same time. 3 places in one place, at the same time, same moment. And he was eating breakfast in every country of those countries. He ate one breakfast in 3 countries in the same time. Brother, the answer no. Tell us more, tell us more. Hamster.
Do you speak any Hebrew?
No, I'm speaking.
So how do you know if you don't speak Hebrew? How do you know Isaiah?
I'm speaking about
So this,
Isaiah.
I know Isaiah.
Does it
Hebrew,
mean that
what language
someone
is
who
it?
can?
It's written in Chinese.
It's not written in. It's not written in Isaiah that God
No,
will give
it's
you
a lie.
sign.
No,
Is it lie?
I'm answering, and you don't seem to want the answer because you want your idolatry. So let's think about it. It says, "L'chein yiten Hashem l'chaos, hine ha'alma harbi ledizbeh."
Guys, so he is saying that the word Alma, it doesn't mean a virgin. But just to let us go with him. Behold, the young woman is with the child, and she will bear a son, and he shall be called his name Emmanuel. So this son is God. He is Emmanuel. What Emmanuel mean? God with us. He's us. He's here. This is what Emmanuel mean. God is here with us. He's not there. He's with us. Now, if we analyze their false, let us say true translation of the meaning. What is the miracle about a young woman giving birth? All young women give birth. Young women, you see, you just said young and women, which means she is not a child. All young women. The second we say women, that means what? That means she have her puberty. She have her menstruation. So she is a woman. We will go with their translation. She is a woman and she is young. And why she is called woman? Because simply she have her menstruation. Okay, what is the miracle there? All women who have menstruation, unless they have a health problem, they can bear a child. What is the miracle? What is the sign? If this is the sign, that the sign happen every day, every second. Are you with me? Do you see how they lie? How this can be a sign? You know, when we say a sign, we are speaking about something very unique, so the people will know that this is the one who they are waiting for. If the word young women is what it's meant there, then there's no sign. For all young women, as long as they are women, they will give birth. Same time, the word alama, they keep saying that the word mean here have nothing to do with being a virgin. If you go to Exodus chapter 2, maybe somebody can help and post the verse. Let me open it. Hold on, let me find it. I don't remember which verse, but give me a second. I think verse number 8. In that verse, if you go to the Hebrew, the Jewish Bible, not even translated, or even the Orthodox Jews, not Christians, just Jews, you will see that Maryam, the sister of Moses, the sister of Aaron, she was called Alama. Why? Because simply she is a virgin. This is why the word there is used, is specifically, let me see if I can open the Jewish, let me see, hold on, give me a second. Jewish, where is Orthodox Jewish Bible? Okay. Let us see what the Orthodox Jewish Bible says. Here we go. Let me show you. This is the Orthodox Jewish Bible. This is not the Christian translation. This is Orthodox. You see it? This is the verse. And bad Pharaoh said to her, go and alama, which means the woman, this woman who is Maryam, go and do this. Why she was called such a word? Because she never had sex. She is a virgin. It's like when you say, you know, like in Hebrew, the second you say she is not married, that means she is not, she is virgin. Otherwise she is, you know, she committed a great sin. So that description will not be given to a young woman, unless she is a woman, she never experienced sex. She never had sex, which is a virgin. In fact, even the same sentence, the same word is given to men, like David. So David, when he had never had a woman before, he was called the same word, but like when you say it to a female is different when you say it to a male. So this potato, when he is speaking, claiming that this one is just a female woman who is young, he is a fabricator with no shame. They have no shame. Anyone who have little brain, he will ask himself, okay, what is the miracle here? Why David was called Elam or Alama, the same, Elam. The masculine word of Alama. Because simply he never had a woman. He himself still a virgin. Virginity is not necessarily about a woman only, it's about men and women. The word virgin is not really for men or women, it's for someone never had any sex experience. Simply never had sex. As simple as that. In Genesis 24, you will see that Isaac, future wife, Rebecca, what she was called? Virgin. What virgin? What the word is used there? Alama. Let me go, hold on. I don't want to make the video long, like opening verses will take us longer, but it's worth it for the sake of education. Was the wife of Isaac a virgin or not? Every single Jew will agree. How we know? Where it says she was a virgin? Where it says she was a virgin? What the word virgin there? Is it a young woman only? Like a young woman, she can be a woman, she slept with many men. Again, the Jewish Bible, and this is Alama. This is Rebecca. Rebecca, who was a virgin, when she came to her husband, she covered her face. Why she covered her face? The tradition is that a woman, she never met a man, never know a man, never slept with a man. She is a shy person. She have her own way to express her shyness. She never met a man. So she covered her face with, like what you see, like in the wedding these days. Many people do not know even why they do that. Why in the wedding, you will see somebody have like a see-through cover. Because she is shy, and she knew now she will be a wife for this husband, and now she is lawful for him and he is lawful for her. Still, because she is a virgin, this Alama, she is covering her face. When she entered into the husband, all the street she is not covered. When she arrived there, she covered her face. Why? Because she is a bride and she is a virgin. She never knew a man. Which means when the husband he go inside the tent, he meet his wife, he is the first one to lift up the cover on her face. No man before him. Are you with me? Guys, do you understand what I'm saying? Why she is called Alama? She is Alama now because she is not in the tent of Isaac yet. She is not yet having sex. After she have sex, she is not Alama no more. She is the same person. She did not get older. You know, she is not. She did not get 10 years older. It's the same person without sex and after sex. So do you see how they lie? And this is, I am showing you the Jewish Bible. This is not the Christian translation. This is Orthodox Jews. Those are the one who spit at the Christians. Those are the one who spit at the Christians when they see them in Jerusalem. So do you see how easy to get them busted? They play dumb. They are the same as the Abdul. When you talk to them, they play dumb when they want. But anyway, we cannot prove that Jesus is the one is born of a virgin and that make him the Messiah. Why one verse? We have tons of prophecies about him in the Bible. Actually, all of us, we knew about the forbidden chapter in the Old Testament to the Jews, which every single Jew hate to read, and even many of them, they print not that chapter. Why? Because simply it is clearly speaking about the Messiah. Let us continue with the video of this coward. I hate to talk about this man, but you know, those people, they have no shame. And you know, sometimes I feel like my job is as someone who work for the city hall, and he is the one who cleaned the garbage from the city. It's a job we don't like, but somebody have to clean the garbage. Somebody have to do it. And I ask anyone, and I ask the Muslim, by the way, I mean, how you say in your comment for this video that you love this guy and he is denying the virginity of Mary, which means he is denying your prophet to be truthful. I cannot express how stupid you Muslims are. How you say in the comment section, I cannot express more love to you for the knowledge you have to weave a singer. I am a Muslim from Saudi Arabia. I'm a Muslim from Pakistan. Pakistan. You just got your prophet busted if this is true. Mr. Pakistan. Let us continue.
How do you say a virgin in Hebrew? Betula, thank you. It doesn't say Betula, does it? But you were raised in Iran. You didn't learn Hebrew.
You raised there. You don't know. In fact, the same word is even used in Arabic. But the same word you mentioned there is a virgin, and you are a coward. Have you ever heard of a language have only one word for one thing, like the same thing, just one word? Like how many words the Jews they have for God? Huh? Hashem, Adonai, Elohim. So why you don't say the same for that one? Then say, okay, there's only one word, mean version. That's it. There's no other word. There's no other words. That's our language is limited. That's it. This is the only word for version. Same time, when we speak about that the virgin is giving birth, to a son, and that son will be called Emmanuel. What that son, who is the son? If we ask this guy, who is this person? Who is this person? If it's not Christ, the one we knew, who is he? And when is going to happen? When your Jewish women, they are sleeping around and everybody having boyfriend and girlfriend. If there is any virgins left in your society, you potato, you live like the Muslims, you do muta. Women, they go behind the wall and they take off their panty and they do it in the wrong location, and yet they claim to be virgins. And if they do it from the front, they buy a product that's called virgin again from China. In the worst scenario, they go to a clinic and they became virgin in 5 minutes again. And those people are waiting for the virgin, sorry, to the young women to give a sign. And why the son will be called Emmanuel? Why he's giving such a name? Unless he's God with us. You know, in Isaiah 7:14, like sometime when you read the Bible, you will see that there is a scattered information, because Isaiah is giving us more signs about the person who is going to be born and what is his description, what he will do, what is the purpose of this person. So when in Isaiah it says that the Spirit of the Lord will rest on him, the Spirit of the Lord. How many men in the history of Jews the Spirit of the Lord will rest on them? And how many of you deserve to be having the Spirit of the Lord to rest on? And those people until now, they are waiting for the Messiah to come in the top of a donkey. In the time where we have cars are without drivers, in the time where the Israeli, they have an amazing innovation. Electric cars, electric airplane, electric drones. I mean, everything is like beyond imagination. They are waiting for the Messiah to come riding a donkey. Now, this reminds me of the Muhammadan waiting for Gog and Magog coming attacking Mecca, and they will throw their arrows. And then the Muslims will use the wooden arrow to cook in it for 7 years. So in the year 2023, if Gog and Magog, they come today, they will use arrows made of wood. In the time we have drone, in the time we have all kind of a crazy weapon who don't even need a person to guide it. They will use arrows. Those who they are, those Jews. In Isaiah 29, let me open this one actually. In Isaiah 29, who is the one? If we go to the Talmud, you can go right now and search what the Talmud says about Jesus. You will see in the stupid Talmud, the book of the devil, it says there that Jesus, of the Christians, they don't consider him to be Christ, remember. He went to Egypt and he learned magic, and this is how he was able to do miracles. Will that mean that Moses, when he did his miracle, it was just a magic? Even the word magic is mentioned there in the verse. In order to avoid who is Jesus, they deny that he is the Son of God. They could not, even imagine, the enemy of Jesus could not deny that Jesus did amazing miracles. But they claim it was, he learned magic. But you know, if you have little brain, you will notice that you cannot learn magic to make the blind see. Not only we don't believe in such a thing, but who is the donkey in the world when I believe that somebody, he go and he learn a trick, and what the trick do? Make a human being who is blind see. Look how simple it is. Very easy. You know, I will teach you a trick. You make somebody born blind to see. It's a magic. This is who they are. Not, you know, like actually all of Islam, by the way, all of Islam, fairy tale stories, most of it is coming from those stupid people. Where Muhammad, he got the story of the ant speaking to Solomon? From their book. Not from the Bible. From their fiction books. All the stories Muhammad he got, which is so silly and we laugh at it, it is coming from those dummies. Where Muhammad he got the story that if a person he piss in his shoes, God will torture him? From their books. God will not torture them for taking interest. God will not torture them for bringing the Ahmadiyya and whatever they call them, you know, what they call this, the biggest temple. I don't know what kind of, I forgot the name. Anyone remember the name? They build a temple for a religion which is a mix of many religions. Big, huge, in the top of the hill of Jerusalem. They are trying to strip Christians from their churches, yet they bring people who they are totally pagan to build the biggest temple you can imagine in the most important part of Jerusalem. I forgot the name of the religion. It's a mix of no, not the Rus, no, and not Ahmadiyya too. Man, one of you knows? Baha'i, yeah, the Baha'i. The Baha'i. They praise them, they welcome them. Do you know what they invited them? Do you know why they invited the Baha'i to build the temple? Because of their money. They are very rich. The biggest and the most strategic location in Jerusalem. You will not see to weave a singer going there to school them that they are false worshipping false God. He will not. Look at this. Look at this. Huge land. People who have nothing to do with Israel. People who never been in Israel. They are not Jews, they are not Arab, they are nothing. Just for the sake of money. They are desperate for a piece of land. They complain that Israel is so small. The Arab, they want to take Israel. And then they give a strategic land to build a temple which is worshipping other than their God. And they are saying to the Christians, you are an idol worshipper. So when the Bible says the synagogue of the devil, the Bible speak about the synagogue of the devil.
Hebrew. If you know Hebrew, you know that Matthew 1:23 is lying to you. It's not there.
It's not there.
It's not easy.
God of Israel said that I use Gentile and make my people jealous to come back to me.
Where does it say that?
Okay. So,
Okay? What's okay? That's not an answer.
Where?
Where does it say that God wants to arouse jealousy among the Jews? You said it, and I'm asking for a source.
We show you that already. It doesn't skip. I mean, everything this guy he said, it's very funny and very dummy and very stupid. I don't know if I should continue. Maybe I should leave some, some of his meat to Sam Shamoun so he can, like barbecue the rest. Maybe Sam Shamoun, he will enjoy doing the rest of the barbecue. But this is how silly, how stupid, how liars, how they are fake. And the Messiah, he said something very clear. From their fruits, you shall know them. So if we say that this man is a devoted Jew, and he is defending his faith, which is nothing wrong with that, how come he defend Muhammad who killed the Jews? You tell me. I mean, the man who taught a lot of hate and killed all the Jews in the Arabian Peninsula. All. Not a single Jew left. Either they run for their life before he killed them, or he got them and he killed them. Why a man, he is devoted to his belief, he will defend a criminal like Muhammad? You see, if this guy, he say Muhammad is a fraud, Jesus is false, okay, well, this is his belief, at least he is saying what he believes. But here you know that he is a fraud. He defend Islam, attack Christianity. And remember that Islam stole a lot of things from Christianity. As an example, Islam confirmed that Christ is a Christ. He refused that. How come he don't dare to say to the Muslims, this is not a Christ? He will not dare. How come the Muslims support him? Because simply he never attacked Islam. How come he don't say to Muslims, your Quran lied to you about Mary being a virgin? He knew that the Quran says that. If he is a devoted believer, he will defend his faith in no matter against who. Do we agree? Christian Prince, you know me very well. There's a potato, his name is James White. I wiped the floor with him, yet he is supposedly Christian. Because he says something, a lie, a wrong, false. A rabbi, he says something, I wiped the floor with him. A Muslim say a lie, I wipe the floor with him. I don't take a side. A person who have a belief, he stand with his belief, not with politics. They are following Satan, or they are doing business. He live between Muslims, he make business with Muslims, he sell diamond and jewelries for Muslims. So I'm not going to offend the Muslims. I cannot even live there for a day. So he played the hamster game. He defend Muhammad. Look what Muhammad he said, additional to the Quran. I mean, there's tons of verses in the Quran. How in the world anyone, he claimed to be a rabbi, he defend Muhammad unless he is a scumbag? Look at this. Muhammad, he commanded the Jews, the Muslims, that when the time come, you will know the sign. You will chase the Jews and you will kill every single one of them. Allah Apostle said, and this is Sahih Bukhari, this is very authentic, as you know, the hour will not be established until you fight with the Jews. And the stone behind which a Jew will hide behind it will say, hey Muslims, there is a Jew behind me, hiding behind me, kill him. Why someone, he is a rabbi, he is a Jew, his country in war literally with every single Muslim country. His people are cursed by every single Muslim in the world. All his enemies are Muslims. And all the ones who support Israel are Christians. Why in the world he defend Islam and attack Christianity only? Defend Islam, not only go mute. Simply because he is satanic. I don't take a side. If you are a Hindu, I will show you are wrong. If you are a Muslim, I will show you are wrong. If you are Jehovah's Witness, I will show you are wrong. I'm not going to do politics. I say things as it is. Even if you are a Christian, like some Christians who claim to be Christians, there's a group of people who they are, let us say, fornicators, and there's other group of people who they are drunken all the time, and there's a group of people who they are child molesters, and there's a group of people who they are thieves, and there is a group of people who they are doing everything wrong in the world. What they say to themselves, God will forgive us. Those are false Christians. Say it to them in their face, you are going to go to hell. Paul, which the Muslims and the Jews, they hate very much, as this guy he said. He said clearly that no wicked man, no wicked women will enter heaven. And if you do not know what wicked mean, look at Tovia singer. Wicked man is someone he sell his belief and his honor for money. He don't dare to say his belief to one group, but he say it to other group, because the other group, they have a benefit from them. He's making money from them. The Christian side, they are nice. They will not harm him, and they will not be caught him. He is welcome to come to America. He is welcome to come to Europe. But he will not do that, to say that to Muslims. Wicked man in the Bible is someone he drink to get drunk. Wicked man is someone is a fornicator. Wicked man is someone who commits sin and he don't want to repent. Liars, cheaters. Those, in the same time, they promote wickedness and they hate Christianity for a very simple reason. Christianity is showing them their wickedness.
About having fun.
Not this idiot. Where is the other video I showed you about? This one? Oh, this one. I don't know if I close the video. When he said we know that Jews and Muslims, the Muslims even, they hate more Paul. Way more they hate Paul. They share together the same hatred. And that's for a reason. Here. Listen to this. Then you will understand the secret.
Of God, the second person of the triune God, and who died for your sins. In Islam, as outrageous. Muslims detest Paul more than anything. Muslims hate Paul more than Jews do.
So now we knew why the Bible described them as the synagogue of the devil, the synagogue of Satan. And remember, we don't hate the Jews, because if you hate the Jews, you hate Paul, you hate Mary, you hate all the disciples. Same time, we are Christians. We don't promote hate. We expose liars and wicked people. And you need to know that as we speak, there's a lot of Jews in the heart of Jerusalem bringing people to Christ. And this is what drives them crazy. The church is glorified, blessed by the Lord, in the heart of Jerusalem. And the Orthodox Jews do not know how to stop them. And this is what makes them so angry from Christianity. They cannot refute the Christians. They cannot debate them. Do this guy dare to, I don't speak Hebrew, which means he have like advanced tool against me. He can speak Hebrew, he can read Hebrew, but we can get him busted easy, even if I don't speak Hebrew. Because we have their own websites, Orthodox Jews, showing us what is the meaning is for any word we are going to argue about. Any word. One by one, including the one about the virgin. Never tolerate a liar. And never hesitate. Do you think the penalty for apostate is good or bad because it's in the Bible? Well, you see, the Jews, like this guy is an apostate. Why? Because simply he claimed to be a rabbi, but he never prostrated against homosexuality. He never prostrated against any sin is all over Israel. He's a rabbi. He's not just a normal Jew. So, the law of apostasy in the Old Testament is about you being a Jew. And a Jew is not just a religion. A Jew is being an ethnic. So, when you join the enemies, literally, you are joining the enemy. Israel from that time is surrounded by enemies. All the neighbors are enemies. So, when you leave your people and you join the enemy worshiping their God, that means you betray the people, not only God. So the penalty of death is not about apostasy, but it is about betraying the people. It's the same as somebody join ISIS and he is an American citizen. So many people don't understand that a Jewish person is somebody born from a Jewish family, is not somebody convert to be a Jew. So if there is a war between you and your neighboring country, and then you join your country, the neighbor country. So if this guy, he go and join Hamas, or if a person from Hamas, he go and join the army of Israel, what the penalty for this person? Death. So the apostasy here is not only apostasy about worshiping different God, it's about joining, betraying other enemy. Same time, the law of apostasy exists with God, but it's a different way. Anyone who apostate, where he is going to go, according to the Bible, according to the New Testament, to hell. Is that correct? The one who do apostasy, he will end in hell. So either way you are dead. But in the case of Judaism, for he betraying the people, joining the enemy of the people and the enemy of their God. Never sugarcoat your faith. We are not the same as the Muslim who deny, oh, the Bible doesn't say that. Those, because they are da'if religion. You know, da'if? They're weak. They are ashamed of their book. We are not. A person who is ashamed of his book, he have no book. Do you understand? If somebody says to you that the Bible condemns homosexuality, are you going to say, you know, I don't agree with the Bible? If you say that, you are no Christian, you are an apostate. You are actually an enemy of God. Because the Bible says clearly, the Bible counts for us one by one what is against God. It's not up to you. You don't choose, you don't design Christianity as you wish. You know, we are not an app you can do software update. Don't. If you do, you are a false man. You understand me? It's not up to you. It's not up to me. It's not. Those who they try to design Christianity, like now we see some people, they claim to be even a minister, Christian minister, he call himself a Christian, but he is a scumbag. So, okay, God love you, God love you. Okay, God love gays, God love gays, you know, God, okay, love Muslims, God love Muslims. You know, so they make Jesus a hippie man who have like ton of like 10 ears in his earring in his ears, and he have a tattoo, and he have a red dot between his forehead, and he's giving hugs to people in the street. I love you, I love you. This is false. Remember, the Messiah, he said it clearly, when he come with the glory of his angels, what he will do. The love of the Messiah is not the love of the wicked man, is the love to save the wicked man from his wickedness. And there's a huge difference. So the second you start promoting wickedness, you are wicked too. Remember that. Don't you know that the wicked will not inherit the kingdom of God? Now go and check what is the word wicked mean. A scammer is a wicked. A cheater is a wicked. A man, he cheat on his wife is wicked. A woman, she cheat on her husband is wicked. A man, he cheat in his meat. He's a butcher. He's a wicked man. A guy in the grocery store, he cheat in what he sell, in the price. He's a wicked man. Wicked is everything you can imagine when it's come to wrong. Wicked man is the man who liked to eat all the food and then he left little for his children. A beast. Wicked man is the man who beat his wife for no wrong. He's angry from somebody outside. Everybody outside beat him. He want to be a man at home. Outside, he is a cat, he is a rat, he is a donkey, he is a chicken. Inside the house, he want to be a lion. He is a wicked. So a wicked man will not inherit the kingdom of God. Do not be deceived. Neither the sexual immoral. How many of you hear liars saying to you, oh, you don't worry, you know, okay, God is all merciful. God is all, no, because, you know, even if you want to repent, because how you know when you will repent? If you fool yourself, says, okay, tomorrow I will repent. Do you guarantee you will live until tomorrow? Do you think that you can play this game with God? Tomorrow I will repent. Next year I will stop smoking. How you know he will live for next year? You might die having sex anyway. And then, idolaters. You see this Jewish guy, he keeps saying to us that you Christians are idolaters. But look what they do. They worship money, defending Muhammad, just because they have business with the Muslims. Nor adulteress, nor a man who submit to perform homosexual act, nor a thief, nor a greedy, nor a drunk. How many we hear? You know, we heard this guy, what's his name? This the one who claim those like Muslim convert. They say to you, Islam solve all my problem. What's your problem? Alcohol. Who forced you to drink? Look at the stupidity. Well, you live in the West still, which means just stop drinking. And where in the Bible it says to you, you can be drunk? Where? Just show me. A Muslim will quote for you from the Old Testament. A mother of a king, she said, let the one who is dying with pain drink, get drunk, so his pain will be less. Well, this is a medicine, you idiot. A person who is dying from pain, even in surgery, at that time they give him alcohol so he don't feel pain, you idiot. If today we don't have morphine, what they will do to you when they do surgery? How they can make you not to feel pain? Aren't you taking morphine, which make you drunk? Way more than drunk. What is morphine? Is drugs. Literally. Is drugs is halal? They will say to you, no, haram. Where in the Quran says haram? They say to you, do harm. Well, drugs can be useful. The same drugs can kill you. The same drugs can save you. The same poison of a snake can kill you. The same poison of a snake can be a great medicine. So the problem is not in the alcohol. The problem is with the drunk man, the wicked man. The problem is not with sex. The problem is with the fornicators. God created us male and female. This is how we are created. That is not a problem. The problem is when you live like an animal. You eat like a mule. You want to have sex like a mule. You see a female, you want to jump on her. It doesn't matter if she is yours or not. Like Muhammad. It says, Muhammad in the privilege, it says in privilege number 10, if the Prophet eyes fall into a woman, her husband must divorce her so the Prophet can if her. My friend Skyline, don't you see we have a topic? Do you think this is our question now? Are you all worried about Abu Bakr now? What's wrong with you? Some people are like kids. When you grow, I mean, you go to people speaking about a topic, you put your hand up, you want to talk about Pepsi Cola. Do you see us talking about Abu Bakr now? Grow up. So thieves is a wicked man. Greedy. So greedy is not a thief. Greedy is not a drunk. Greedy is not a fornicator. He's a greedy. He is not going to go to heaven. Because what a greedy mean? What a greedy mean? Greedy is a person, in one way he is cheap. In one way he loves money. Because he loves money, he's greedy. And because he loves money, he's cheap. And because he loves money, people around him will suffer. He did not do anything. He's just greedy. You see how tough the Bible is? Do you see how hard to be a follower of Christ? They lie and they say to you, okay, you know what, in Christianity they say Jesus died for our sin, just go and do sin. This is what they lie about us. But reality is the opposite. The one they attack most, Paul, go and check his life, how much this man he suffered. Go check the life of every single disciple of Jesus. See how much worthy they are. See how many slaves they have. See how many servants they have. See what kind of palaces they live in. And go and check the caliphate of Muhammad. How many belly dancers they have. How many Muhammad slaves he have. How many slaves Aisha she have. Those people, my friend, they paid heavily for their faith. Literally their blood. No money. No respect. No honor. People spit at them. People chase them. People throw rocks at them. People, they take them and they feed them to animals. People, they crucify them upside down. Somebody is stupid asking me, can we nuke the Kaaba? My friend, you cannot even nuke your wife. Get out of here. This is why we are here now, to nuke the Kaaba. Why we want to nuke the Kaaba? Stupid idiot. You want to nuke the Kaaba? Can we nuke the Kaaba? Go and nuke Joe Biden first. Idiot. You are selling them weapons. You are protecting their Kaaba. And you are talking about nuking the Kaaba. Go nuke your mother-in-law who will make you wash dishes. Silly people. Is that why we are here, to nuke the Kaaba? Is that what you understand? Are you my cousin who went to take logic class and then he come with the conclusion that the one who have a chain, his mother is a good woman, and the one who don't have a chain, his mother is a whore? Who told you that we are here to nuke the Kaaba? Why? Are we criminals? Idiots. No thief, no greedy, no drunken, no verbal abuser, no swindler will inherit the kingdom of God. No, I'm not. I'm just cool, but I don't like stupidity. People say stupid things. I mean, you want to be stupid, don't come here. What does this have to do with our topic? I mean, do you even have nuke at home? Go use it. Go ahead, show me what you can do. Throw one at me first. Weird people. This is stupid things. They think we are a bunch of kids, just here to blah, blah, blah. Like, go, are you like 200 years old man? You lost your teeth and now you are talking about politics? Can we nuke the Kaaba? After what? Can we nuke the Kaaba? You just put your fake teeth and talk to me. We are people who follow Jesus. We don't want to nuke nobody, and we don't want to kill the Jews or the Christians or the Muslims or the Hindus or the Buddhas. We want to save them. Yet we don't give hugs. Jesus who give hugs is not exist. Jesus who is the Lord, the judge, is the one we follow. When he commands his angel and says, those who rejected me, slay them. And slay them here is about sending them to hell for eternity. They wish actually to be slain. That is our Jesus. Jesus will destroy all the idols. Jesus will delete and will destroy all the kingdom of the devil. So I wanted to remind you that when somebody says to you that we are people who they are tolerant to sin, that is false. A person who is tolerant to sin, He is just a sinner. He just to justify his sin. The same as the Muhammadan, he do all kind of sin, and then at the end of the day he say Bismillahi wa bihamdihi 100 times. Look at this hamster. Let me change his face from here. I don't want to see his face. Or touch the black stone, brother. Walk around the black stone. Touch it. Kiss it. You will be fine. Very simple. If I say the name of Allah 100 times, my sin is forgiven, even if it's the foam of the ocean. In Christianity, if you say the name of Jesus 1 billion times, in fact, it might even hurt you more, because you are a hypocrite and you are insulting the name of your Lord. You are using the name of your Lord in vain. Do you understand me? In Christianity, the sinner who keep using the name of God, he will be punished more than a person do not even know God. Because you are insulting your Lord, making him a tool to justify your sin, which is not what the Lord he said. I seek forgiveness by Allah 100 times. Bismillah wa bihamdihi 100 times. And then, brother, if you do that, all your sin is gone, even if it is more than the ocean foam. Even if it is more than the ocean foam. Read it. Just say it 100 times. 100 times. As easy as TZ. It's fast. You know, I can say that in less than a minute. In a minute, I can say that. Let's say 2 minutes. I say that 100 times. My sin is forgiven, even if it's more than the foam of the ocean. Am I lying? It's in front of you. This is exact in Muslim and Al-Bukhari. If you say to Jesus 1 billion times, in the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, praise be to Jesus, 1 billion times, you might actually be punished more for using the name of God in vain. This is a religion of the wicked man and women. It's called Islam. And this is why those false rabbis, who they are from the synagogue of Satan, defending this religion. And remember, Muslims and Jews, they don't even worship the same God. For a very simple reason. Everything the Muslims believe in is against what the Jews teach their kids. Everything. But in front of the cameras, the Jews, those Jews, not all of them, as we said, there's many Jews are defending Christianity and believe in Jesus and they worship Jesus. In the front of the camera, they defend Muhammad. Behind the camera, they say the F word to Muhammad. I guarantee you that this son of Muta, Tovia singer, he don't hesitate to say the F word to Muhammad 1,000 times. And every Muslim, he knew that. Every single Muslim, he knew that. Even the Quran confirmed that. The Quran confirmed that the most people who they are enmity to the believers is those who they are Jews. Read it. Chapter 5, verse number 82. So which one the Muslim believe? So here you find that suddenly both of them, they are in bed together. Okay, what they share together? They don't have the same bed. They are not from the same group. They don't have the same God. They have a lot of enmity. They have a very bloody history. How come suddenly those so-called rabbi, they are defending the filthy scumbag Muhammad? The answer is very simple. Many of those fake rabbis, they believe the enemy of my enemy is my friend. The Muslim believe Saturday comes first, Sunday is next, which means we finish the Jewish first and then we go to Sunday. But now we cannot finish the Jews first. Who is the one more terrorist we can attack them? The Christians. Do you notice that none of those Muslims, when they make videos, like Mimi, Sisu, Dudu, Fifi, whatever their names, they don't dare to make any videos against the Jews? They don't. Only Christianity. They don't say a single word against the Jews. Not a single word. Yasser Qadhi, he was making a speech about this hadith I mentioned, the one I mentioned to you. He said, we know the hadith is speaking about the hour. We cannot say it. We cannot say it. He don't even dare to read it. We cannot say it. And again, for us, you as a Christian, you remember that if not the Jews preach the gospel to us, we who we are not from the children of Abraham, we will never learn about the Messiah. So we as a Christian, we appreciate the Jews, and specifically the very conservative Jews like Paul and the disciple of Jesus. Every one of us should appreciate them. Those are true believers, and they are Jews. So this isn't against the Jews, as people. This is against the Jews who they fabricate lies about Jesus to gain a debate. Those rabbis, they present to me like a lawyer. You know, one of the reasons I did not want to work as a lawyer, even though I have a law degree, you have to lie. You have to. It's your job. It's your job to defend a rapist. It's your job to defend a thief. It's your job to defend somebody did wrong. It might be your job too to defend someone did not do any crime. But it's your job to defend. It doesn't matter who and why, because he paid you. This is why myself, I don't want to work as a lawyer. You have a client, he come to you, he said to you in the office, I did rape this woman. My name is Andrew Tate. How much you pay me? How much you charge me? $1 million? Here we go. Go to the court and get me out. And then your job as a lawyer is to defend. And you know, you do not need me to prove to you that I can be a very, very good lawyer. Very good. Because all what lawyer does is just to convince people in their argument. But if I want to do that, I have to practice lying, and then I will lose my salvation to make money. You might say, well, you can be a lawyer and don't accept a case which a man he did wrong. But even that, how you know even the man did not do wrong? Maybe he says to you, I am not guilty. Maybe he's lying. Then you go to the court and you defend the man, so he will be released, and then he released, and then after you finish, he said to you, by the way, I am the one who raped the women. And then you found yourself, you defended a rapist, and you release him from his punishment, and now the poor victim is dead or crying for the rest of her life. Debate to weave a singer, invite him. I made a post in his comment. He ignore my comment. He don't even see it. The same as all the Abdul, the same as Zakir, Naik, the same as all of them. Where Christian Prince? Like a Christian guy in the speaker corner, he asked Ali Dawah about Christian Prince. He said, oh, who is Christian Prince? He didn't know him. He never heard of me. He never heard, you know, like the guy was sitting next to Mimi Hijab speaking about me, speaking to me, literally. And in the speaker corner, he, what? Who Christian Prince? He did not know me. Who? What? Is he like, where? We never heard of him. Go watch the video. You will laugh, you know, they'll laugh him. We don't know him. The punishment for rape, Sunan Ibn Dawood. My friend, I find it very funny that a Muslim, he says to me that there's a punishment for rape in Islam. Do you like to call me Anonim? Anonym? Are you a Muslim, my friend? Are you a Muslim? Because I challenge you, to get me the case of punishment of rape. What do you think? Do you want to call me? Do you dare to call me? Because how you say the punishment of rape is in the hadith when the Quran never mentioned it? Are you saying to me that you're a stupid God? He forgot something, the most important thing? Your God never mentioned it? Same time. The hadith you gave me proved to us that Muhammad is a fraud. Why? Because isn't it in the Quran it says, if somebody accuse somebody, he have to bring 4 witnesses? The story you gave me, there is no 4 witnesses. So how Muhammad judge him? Isn't it your Muslim, you say, if a hadith is against the Quran, we don't accept it? Women accuse a man, or a man accuse a woman, you have to bring 4 witnesses. Same time, you Muslims, if you punish rapists, you should stone Muhammad first. So rape is part of your religion. Any Abdul? And you know, by the way, if you read even the story this guy is giving us, it doesn't even say that he raped her. She said he slept with me. I mean, this, do you see why we laugh at the Muslim when they try to give us a proof? If you read even the hadith you are talking about, you will not find a single place in the hadith saying the man, he raped her. Do you like to call me? To make you read it? And then people will laugh at you? Are you there? Anumim, whatever your name. Do you like to call me, open Skype for you? And you read the hadith for me? And show me what it says he raped me? She said this man slept with me. Where it says he raped her. So what she did actually, she did sleep with the guy, and now she made herself the honorable woman, and he is the one who slept with her. And then your prophet should punish them both, because she did not say he raped me. She said he slept with me. Are you there? This is your hadith. Let me put it for everybody on the screen. The Muslim, they add in the translation the word rape, where we can find it in the story. where it says overpowered. But you know, I will say, okay, you know, maybe what happened, it was a rape. But why you Muslims adding things is not there. But let us say it happened. What we would do now with 4 witnesses? What if this woman, she is lying? Your prophet, he broke the law of Allah. You have to bring 4 witnesses to investigate. Otherwise, any woman can accuse. Okay, hold on. I will go with you. So now there's 2 Muslim women, 2 women, they are accusing, androtates of rape. Why you Muslim defend? Just to bring the guy and stone him. Correct, guys? There's no witnesses. She said, this guy, he did that to me. So why you Muslim defend androtates? 2 women, not 1. And this guy, he say clearly in his videos what he did. Yet you Muslims, because you are a fraud like your prophet, you defend the guy. Do you see, guys, how they are hypocrite? We have another guy, his name is Radwan, saying, are you saying that rape is allowed? In Islam, is yes allowed. Isn't it your prophet, he raped tons of women? It's in your religion. Find me 1 verse in the Quran that says rape is forbidden. If you can show me that, I will shave my 25-meter beard. And right now I can show you verses in the Bible about what the penalty for rape. Razwan, are you there? Beat me, man. Get me busted in front of everybody. Show me where in the Quran it says the word even rape. You cannot find it. Your prophet was busy making a story about the story of the ant. Suleiman was talking to the ant. Mickey Mouse story. Suleiman was flying in the flying carpet. He saw an ant. He heard, actually he did not see it. He heard the ant. The ant, she was saying, translation. She was saying to the ant, hide, otherwise Suleiman will crush you. This is what Allah is busy with. This is God. What kind of God even will say such a story? What? The ant, she was telling the other ant, those stories you get from the rabbi. Tovia singer. You stupid Mohammedan, like you're a stupid Muhammad, you get those stories from those stupid people. This is a story from the legend of the Jews. Look at this. Ask him where we can find the story. Go ask him. I challenge you. Ask him where we can find the story of Suleiman speaking to the ant. He will tell you. He will tell you. Like what? Yes, brother. You know, the ant, you know, like she said, yeah. Sorry, guys, you know, I'm just trying to tell you the language of the ants. I know most of you don't understand it. We Middle Eastern, we speak all languages. Sulaiman is one of us. Allah taught him the language of the birds, yet he speaks to the ant. The Quran says Allah taught him the language of the birds. And then the guy is speaking to the ant. You solve the problem. And here this guy is telling us the story. Look at his face. He's so excited. Brother, he was flying with the flying carpet. Force not your slave girls. Abdul, you stupid idiot. The verse you quote for me is not about rape, you donkey. This verse is about prostitution. I mean, even you said that. And that word mean your Quran promote prostitution. Because if they agree, it is halal. If they don't agree, still Allah is all merciful. Where it says forbidden, I will post your translation. Busted. Force not your slave girls into prostitution for your own worldly gains. while they wish to remain chaste. He added then at the end, even slave girls are not raped. Mr. PP busted. Abdul, I can show you all the Quran verses saying, وَمَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانَكُمْ. It is lawful for you to and to rape women, even if they are married. Even if they are married, as long they are your slave girls. Busted. Same time, Abdul, this is a verse giving license to androids. As long they agree, you are fine. And by the way, even if they don't agree, Allah is all merciful. Don't you see it? Don't you see it? Where in the verse says it's forbidden for you to do prostitution? Nobody. Nowhere. It says, if, look what you did. You just gave a big finger to the anus of your prophet. Stinky. If the slave girls agree to do prostitution, it is halal. And if they don't agree, Allah is all merciful. And then the rest you added yourself to cover the stupidity. Razwan, I want to make you an admin, my friend. If you call me, what do you think? I promise you, if you call me, I will make you an admin. Okay. Guys, listen how the end.
They were in such an order. Yuza'un means they were in a proper order. The order of a military commander. Which means, you know, when the soldiers are...
Guys, the chicken, he's talking about the chicken. The chicken, the genie, the birds, they are walking in order. Yeah. And those are stories of the Jews, by the way. Those are stories you find in the stupid stories of the Jews. Muhammad, he copied them. He put it in his stupid Quran because he's a donkey. This is a story copied from Tovia singer. Yeah, the army of the genie and the human being. Yes, brother. And we sing it too. We sing the stupid story.
Gathered for Sulaiman alayhi salam on a certain occasion, his army from mankind, from jinn kind, and from the birds.
This is Quran. Army from genie, human, and chickens. You know, can anybody call me and tell me what the birds were doing in the army? Anyone can tell me exactly what they do in the army? I mean, do you think like they throw poop at the army and they make the floor slippery? Or they poop at the enemy of Suleiman, and then those guys, they get busy cleaning themselves, and then the army, the human and the genie kill them. So an army of a chicken, where do you get this from? Reference. The Legend of the Jews, Tovia singer.
And they were all together moving in a certain direction.
Look, the chicken, the all in a certain direction, brother. Ranks, the army is in ranks, okay? Human, genie, chickens, ducks, huh? Pigeons, turkey. Well, this is a frog. What are you doing here? Oh, I am here to support. So they are, brother, and they are teaching those people, they are teaching their kids those stories. And no Muslim noticed, like, what the heck is this? This is God talking. This is God talking, or this is 6 o'clock after school cartoon for kids.
They were in such an order. Yuza'un means they were in a proper order. The order of...
I know. Listen. I know what you are trying to say. I got it. I think I'm getting closer to know what are you trying to explain to us, because we aren't smart. We do not know. They are in order, brother. How? What order is that? I will show you. My keyboard is stuck with Arabic. Oh boy. Brother, they are in order. Brother, if there is in the army of Suleiman females, because I like the order. Can I have an order like that? So brother, all of them, they are in one order. The whole army of Suleiman, chicken, ducks, all kind of birds, you name it. You look at this, like this, look. Amazing, brother. Amazing. They are all in order, working in certain direction. Who in the world cannot believe in this? Isn't it obvious that this is true? It is.
Military commander, which means, when the soldiers are marching, they have a specific, beautiful order. So we had the human beings, the jinn.
Is the sound coming good, guys? Do you hear the sound good? Commander, the army commander.
Kind, the birds, the other creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On this occasion, the three are mentioned. And Allah says,
and then he will sing for you again. Hatta what? Until they arrive to the valley of the ants. Have you ever heard of, there is a valley, it's called the valley of the ants? The valley of the ants? What the heck? Where we can find the valley? Is that in California? Where is the valley of the ants?
Valley of the ants.
What?
Sulaiman with his huge قالت نملة يا
if you speak Arabic, you would die laughing. One ant, she said. One ant, she said. Hey, to weave a singer, comment.
He passed the valley of the ants. Sulaiman with his huge army, so big, a massive army, as he is passing the valley of the ants, he notices one ant.
Look at this. How good in details Sulaiman is. He is huge. The Arab, when they make something big, they say, I will give you a story. Once I was going with my cousin, and we are like traveling using a mule, So I said to him, listen, do you like to ride the donkey from here to Mecca, and I ride from Mecca to Baghdad? Which one you choose? The guy, he thought about it, he didn't know the direction. He said, well, you know what? I like to ride the donkey from here to Mecca. So after 10-meter walking, I said, okay, we are done. Sit down, come down. He said, where? So this is Mecca, we arrived. Now it's my turn to go all the way from here to Baghdad, which is almost 2,000 miles away. So his army is so huge. Like, oh, it's not a huge only, like it's so huge. Like, he's almost going to fit in the floor because it's so huge, man. They cannot say so huge only. They have to extend the language, like, so huge. Come tomorrow.
Man with his huge army, so big, a massive army, as he is passing the valley of the ants, he notices one ant.
Just one ant, not two. To be honest with you, we have to be honest. It is only one ant. We cannot, what we can do? I mean, I wish it was 2 ants. I wish it's 3. But can I fabricate numbers? I cannot. Haram. One, you notice, is a king. He have a huge army. The length of his army, according to Muslim books, 3,500 miles. This is the length of the army only, not the width. We do not know how wide it is. He noticed one ant. Look at this, just one ant.
Calling out to the rest of the ants, O nation of ants, go into your dwellings because Sulaiman is coming with his army. He'll probably trample over you without...
By the way, I discovered from the Quran that all ants are one nation. Like, you know, like a human being, there's Asian, there's white, there's black. I mean, you know, ants, no, they are one nation. Just one nation. All of them, they live in the valley of the ants. When Allah created the ants, He created the first two ants. One, her name, the first ant, her name is Adam. Adam the ant. And He created from Adam the ant, Eve the auntie. So Adam the ant, he said to her, what are you? What are you doing? Who are you? She said, I'm the female ant, you idiot. He said, what the proof that you have a female ant? He said, look at my nails. What the heck? What does that mean? Yeah, by the way, why you have a long nails? And what about those on your chest? Oh, those are boobs. What? And you know, Adam, he like Adam the ant, he start like touching, like, let me see. She said, don't touch me. Haram. Whoop. Allah talked to her. I thought you made a female ant for me. What she's doing, you know? And then Allah, he spoke to the ant. He said, listen. He's, you know, together. You know, I made you together, auntie and ant. You know, so now you have babies. You know, do things, and you know, like boom, boom. You know, the female, she said, what are you? Shame on you, haram. I'm a very conservative Muslim ant. You know, and I thought not to do that from to Eva singer. So like Allah, he took her to classroom. He registered her in the war room of androtids. She started watching porn, and she had to do striptease and take off her panty. And then she went back, and now she is expert. And then you know what happened. And then they start having babies every 2 seconds. Like brr, 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 brr. You kill one ant, yeah, there's a million ant. You kill 1 million ant, there's 10 million ant. I mean, unbelievable how fast they are in sex, man. Abdul, is that a story? Is true story? Look at his face, it's so serious. He noticed one ant. Just one. Not two. Why? She is the Speaker of the House. Like Joe Biden, he have only one Speaker of the White House. Why only one? She said, and how all the ant in the world, they would hear her. All the valley of the ant would hear one ant. By the way, ants are deaf and mute. Scientifically.
Even knowing what has happened. Sulaiman heard this. He was granted the ability to hear ants.
He was granted the ability to hear the ants. But ants are mute. What do you mean he granted the ability to hear the ants? And where in the Quran it says that? Anyway, guys, I think we have enough for today. We can continue with the lies of this idiot, but maybe I will leave the rest for Sam Shamoun. I don't want to take all the meat. I have to give him some to play, or maybe the rest of you can watch it. But you see, I mean, if you prove a person to be a liar with once, he's a liar. Especially if he knew that he's lying. Like, you know, I can say somebody make a mistake. All of us, we make mistakes. That is not a lie. If you make a mistake, it's not a lie. If you are ignorant, you do not know, and you answer wrongly, that's not a lie. You know, the lie is you know that this is not true. So, do you think a guy who claimed to be a rabbi, he really would defend Muhammad, claiming that Muhammad is not a bad person, and he is not idol worshipper, and he worshiped the same God? A man who killed the Jews, insulted the Jews, promised to cleanse the Jews from the earth. The man who did massacres against the Jews. Do you think a man who is devoted to his faith, he will hesitate to say to the Muslims, your prophet is false? The same he said to the Christians, your Messiah is false. A devoted man, he don't sugarcoat one religion which is false just because he want to attack the other one, and the other one, the first one with his sugar coat, is making money from them. That is not a man of God. A man of God, if you are a Jew, you don't believe in Jesus, or you don't believe in Muhammad. Okay, say, both of them, they are fraud. Both of them, they are liars. But because you are a fraud, son of Muta, to wave a finger, you don't dare. But we do. We do say the truth, and the truth will set you free. Razwan saying, look, Razwan, guys, Razwan, look what Razwan supposedly he's opposing me, he's a Muslim. But Razwan saying that in every religion there is the same problem. What the problem? Stupid stories. So he agreed, his Quran have stupid stories. Razwan, are you paid by me or something? Be honest. Who sent you here to say this? So you agree now that in your religion have stupid stories? Is that a defense or offense? You know what? Don't study law and never work as a lawyer. Because imagine you are defending a rapist like Mohammed, and then you go in the front of the judge and you say, well, all countries, they have the same problem. Men, they are raped. All of them. So, let him go. Everywhere there's rape. Let the guy go. Go. Judge, let him go. The problem is there. Abdul, hold on. He's a thief. There is a theft everywhere. Let the guy go. Okay, this guy, he is a scammer. He told the, so what? There's a scam everywhere. All they have the same problem. Let him go. Don't work as a lawyer. You just spank the ass of your prophet. Literally. By the way, don't forget to wash your hands. Yeah, you said to me you find the problem in your religion, including yours. So now you are trying to be honest, right? I appreciate that, but that means you condemn your own. I don't find this problem in mine. It's not me who I say it. It's not me who said I find that in everybody. No. I believe in my book. You, obviously, you don't believe. You just mentioned the word problem. Who is the one who said the word problem? You. Do you see why I say don't work as a lawyer, you idiot? So you are debating somebody, claiming that your religion is preserved from bad things, and then you agree that this is a problem. And what is the problem? Fairy tales. He saw the ant in the valley of the ant, and the ant, she said to the other ant, may Allah ant you. By the way, Razwan, if there is an ant in your pant, it sounds like it, because you keep jumping and you never call me. Let me guess. The ant is preventing you. Jonah in the whale, what's wrong with it? Actually, there is a video in YouTube. Go watch it. Guys, go. Honestly, this is just last month, I think. A whale, he swallowed people in a boat, and then he spit them out. Go watch it. It's recorded. He spit them out. Same, you idiot. What if I find you the story in your book? So it is possible for a person to live inside the whale. Do you know how big the whale? And the whale, they are not a fish. They breathe. Even in their stomach, there's air. So you are an E. At the same time, we are talking about a miracle, not about what is possible. To make it simple for you, is it a miracle that Suleiman, he heard the ant when the ant don't talk? If the ant talk, then I guess Suleiman maybe can hear. So now in order to make the ant to be heard, we have to make the ant able to talk. So when we speak about a miracle, this is why it's called miracle. It's not a normal thing to happen. It's a miracle, Abdul. Same time, why you don't call me and I will show you the same story in your book? Do you dare? Do you? Is it acceptable that Jesus is alive for 2,000 years? Is it acceptable? Okay. Is it acceptable that Jesus He can make the blind see by waving his hand, as your prophet said, as Mufti Menk said. Waving hand, that's easy. Doesn't say stupid things like that. Are you saying that? Shall we go to Old Testament? My friend, you can go to Old Testament, Sam Adama. You can go. And I challenge you to show me the silly stuff in the Bible. You see, are you an atheist? I will show you something more silly. I don't want to go to the Old Testament. I want to go to the book of Darwin. Darwin, he brought a black man. He put him in the cage to prove that the origin of black people is monkeys. Are you a scientist? This is you. We don't have such a shameful, disgusting stuff. This is your stupid science. Bringing a human being just because he's a black. You put him inside a cage to prove that black people, they used to be monkeys. In my Bible, it says there's no slave, there's no free, there's no Greek, there's no Roman, there's no Hebrew. All is one in Jesus. In my book, it says that all of us, we are the children of Adam and Eve, which means a black man is my brother, an Asian man is my brother, and I am not better than him, and he is not better than mine, and all of us, we have the same blood. In my book. What do you have in your book? That one day you used to be a frog, and then somebody stepped on your tail and you became a chicken? Anyway. You know, Muslims and atheists, by the way, they share the same stupid thing. If God made us in his image, are we all gods? You know, Razwan, I will answer you using your words, if you allow me. So, you look like your father. Are you your father? Now, don't tell me you don't look like your father, because that means your mother, she was a bad girl. So, you look like your father. Are you your father? I'm using your logic, not mine. Just your statement. I want an answer, please. You look like your father, God forbid. Are you your father? Are you searching Google, who is your father? I'm just waiting, I don't know. Just give me an answer. Anything, just to throw anything at me. Why you do that yourself? You are talking to Christian Prince. Potato. Your father is always a human, not God. Okay, you see, you are talking about if we are made in the image. We did not say that we are the same. We said the image. You are a donkey. I will make it simple for you. Your stupid prophet, he says that Adam created in the image of God. In the image of God, he was created. Are you making fun of your prophet now? Are you saying that your prophet said that Adam is God? I'm using your logic. But because you're a donkey, you do not know that your prophet was copying the Old Testament and he said the exact same thing. Put it in front of you. Allah Messenger saying, any of you, when you fight, you must avoid the face of a man, for God created Adam in his own image. It's in front of you. So are you saying that the face of Adam is the face of God? What about the butt of Adam? Doesn't look like the butt of God? Are you there? This is the same sentence in the Bible. God created Adam in his image. This is false hadith. This is why it says sahih. You know what? In the beginning I was confused because I don't speak Arabic, as you know. I said, why it says sahih, which means authentic? Okay, I got it. Muslims, when they say rape, it means marriage. When they say lawful, it means theft. When they say telling the truth, it means they lie. And now it says sahih, which means authentic. It means it's a lie. Thank you for telling me. I was wondering where this is coming. You have your own code as a Muslim. So when you say it is authentic, you mean it's corrupted. That's deep. Thank you. Thank you, Razwan. I switched the hadith. Okay, screwed above. Okay, I screwed above. Okay, guys, Razwan asked me to go above. Above the skirt, and the skirt, where you go? Here we go. Avoid beating the man in his face, for Allah created Adam in his image. Sam Adana, are you a Muslim, my friend? Are you a Muslim or you are an atheist? Sam Adana. Give me the answer, please, so I can answer you based on your belief, if you don't mind. Our friend here, Sam Adana, he said, supposedly he went and he looked for something stupid in the Bible. Your God says all human beings have to be under the condemnation of original sin because Adam and Eve ate an apple from a tree. My friend, it was not an apple, it was a banana, just to correct you. Because Adam, he used to like banana, and Eve, she loved it too. So, can you answer me first? Are you an atheist or a Muslim? Sam? Adana? I'm waiting for you. Here we go. We put you in the screen. Come on, give me an answer. Are you a Muslim or an atheist? Are you an atheist or a Muslim? Are you searching Google? What are you? Okay, ask your mom. I'm waiting. Why it takes so long? Do you want to call a friend? What's wrong with people? Why is it taking so long? Potato, just give me the answer. Are you an atheist or a Muslim? Are you afraid to say? Is that something shameful? You are a Muslim, aren't you? You don't want to say to us, right? Your mom told you don't say anything to Christian press? What your mom, she said? Look, he stopped texting. The guy is not even texting. Abdul, the same story in your Quran. You're an idiot. So I assume that you are a Muslim. The same exact story in the Quran. Same time. This is not about eating an apple, you idiot, or a fruit. This is about disobeying God. As an example, if the one who created you said to you, don't leave this room, otherwise I will punish you, and you decide to leave the room. Okay, now God, he said to you, you are out of my garden. Here, you eat for free. You have everything for free. Get out. Now, Adam is out. And now his kids, they are out of heaven because their stupid father did the stupid mistake. So, God is not punishing his kids for his mistake. No. God punished the man and then he have kids out. In the Bible doesn't say that Adam and Eve, they have 10 kids when they get out. Same time. All the kids of Adam, they commit sin like their father. All of them, including me and you. So the stupid you forgot that we are under the original sin because all of us, we are following the step of their father. So can you find me when a human being did not commit sin, starting from yourself and myself? Can you find me when a human being did not do wrong? So your stupidity, make it as if it is about a guy in God. He said, don't eat tomato. Or God is a cheap. Like you ate tomato. You are agnostic. That's deep. Do you believe in electricity, power? Do you? As long as you are an agnostic, why you are not in heaven? Look, you have nothing to do with Adam. Why you are in this earth? Why you are here? You know, as you see, the Bible is saying that we have to be here. Why you are here? Why your agnostic God don't take you to the Garden of Adam because you don't deserve to be here? Where's your God, by the way, Mr. Agnostic? Do you think Tesla, with their new satellite, they will find your agnostic God? What does that mean, agnostic? Like you believe in power, electricity. Your God, he will be charged again, and then he will flashlight will come back. This is a very stupid statement, agnostic. What does that mean? Do you know even yourself what does that mean? Agnostic, what does that mean? Huh? What does that mean? When Jesus healing people and when he's asking help, he prays to God. He was the same as God. Why he called people to his Father? Abdul Skyline. I know you are Abdul, but you are confused. First of all, when the Messiah speaks to the Father, as an example, the Bible says that the Messiah is the one who have the power over the flesh. But yet the Messiah in the cross, he says, forgive them, Father, they do not know what they are doing. But by saying that, the Messiah forgive them. But still the Father is so angry from what they did. So the Messiah is asking the Father to forgive them, not to punish. The Messiah is saying, I don't want them to be punished. Forgive them, Father. But you will see that the Messiah, he said to the blind man, look, and he see. He tell the man who cannot walk, walk, and he walk. He is not asking the Father to make him walk. So, you can be limited and you see what you want to see only. The Messiah speaking to the Father is called the prayer. For what they say is holy. Prayer is a statement of holiness. Either it is supplication from a creature like me and you, or it is a conversation, which is still a prayer. Like you will see, actually, if you go in language, in English, you will see that it says, I pray you will be fine. I pray you come in. There is many words used for the word pray. But when the Messiah speaks to the Father, it's always holy words. And that is a prayer. It is majestic. It is special. It is pure. It is holy. When the Father speaks to us, that is our prayer. So when a Jew, he read the Torah, he is just reading the Torah. He is making a prayer, actually, by reading the Torah. For this is the words of the Lord. we have all reference about why Jesus, he can do what he can do. He said clearly, everything I have is given to me from the Father. So it's very normal that the Messiah who received everything, for he is born of the Father, not the Father born of Jesus. Did you ask yourself why he called him the Father? The Father means authority. The son of a king is a crown prince. And everything the crown prince he have is from the Father. So when the Messiah, he say, Father, glorify the Son, so then my Son may glorify you. So you will notice here that the Father glorify the Son and the Son glorify the Father. But for us, God don't glorify me. I glorify the Father. But the Father glorify the Son, for he is the Son born of the Father. So the Messiah clearly says, everything I have is from the Father. Everything I have. Who I was with before the whole world. So we Christians believe that the Messiah is born of the Father, not the Father is born of the Messiah. And this is where the Messiah, he got his authority from. Did you get it? Maybe not. The word Father is telling you the whole idea of Christianity. That's it. He's the Father, and he's the Son. And always the Father is the one who gives authority to the Son. Very simple. So that explains everything Jesus said about the Father. Christianity is not two sentences and two words, and we put them together, and that's it. To know Christ, you live Christ. So to know Christ, you have to live the life of a Christ. So you can understand, and how you can live the life of Christ if somebody exists before you 2,000 years and now he exists too. Simply, you live a story by imagining yourself living in the story, not reading it. You see, a human being, he have a brain of images. Images. Everything we have is images. I say to you, chair. In your brain, there is an image of a chair. If you are blind, you touch the chair and your brain will make a scan for the chair. So even the blind man, he have a scan of the image which he cannot see, but he can touch in his brain. So now he knew what the chair is. So if you want to understand really Christ, how he lived, then you better be a person who live the story, not only read it. Don't think CP hate Islam, he just find it so to be stupid. No, my friend, I hate Islam, for this is a religion of the devil. It's a wicked religion. It's stupid. This is something else. No problem, Mr. Sam, no problem. I wanted to be agnostic once. But then, what happened, I was walking in the street, and then I did hit an agnostic guy. Like, I was driving a car. So I said to him, give me your license plate. He said to me, give me your insurance. So he said to him, like, oh, it's your fault. And then he says to me, I swear by God, it's your fault. I said, who's your God? He said, agnostic. And then I went to Google and I started searching for the God. His name is agnostic. I found Mickey Mouse. I found Charlie Chaplin. I found, all kinds of stories. Agnostic. Agnostic is somebody, he is so confused and he burned all his fuse. And he decided, you know what? I'm not going to live in the limbo between the air and the earth. So I will say I am agnostic. What does that mean? Allah knows best. What does that mean? It's a stupid statement. Agnostic. I believe in power. Power, there's a power. Okay. If you want to see the power, go to my bathroom. There's a wire which is ripped off, and you touch it, you will feel all the power you can imagine. Actually, you will have a flashlight in your eyes. Here we go. You're God in my bathroom, in the agnostic room. Agnostic. Agnostic is somebody, he don't want to give his head a comfort. He don't want to think, I'm agnostic. Just take it easy. Yeah, it's easy. Oh, this is a true story, Tony, I'm telling you. Oh, isn't you who was with me in the back seat, Tony? There we go, I have a witness. 3 more, we can prove fornication. What is agnostic? You're just fooling yourself. Agnostic is like a drugs, like you say to yourself, I am not really confused. Your God appears to be sadist, meaning he created people a certain way and only to punish them. That is stupid of you to say. Because if you know what my God say, God, he did not, okay, God created people in a certain way. What does that mean? He created Adam and Eve, man and women, and he gave them everything. So what do you mean in a certain way, and then he punished them for what they did? Did he create them to be sinners? No. No. He created you in heaven, literally. So if you do sin, that was your choice. You see, you can say that you are acting like an idiot. I'm not calling no names, by the way, but this is the way I talk. Like when I was born, the first word my mom, she said to my dad, she said, what? He said, what do you want to name him? He said, Mohammed. Which means idiot. So, okay, focus with me. Your God say all a human being have to be under condemnation, original sin. This is what you said, right? Okay. And then you said this. Let us go to the second comment. He created them in a certain way. Can you show me where it says in the Bible that God created us sinners? Can you show me where in the Bible it says God created us to be sinners? He made us sinners? That is in Islam, not in Christianity. In Christianity it says, be holy like your Father. Be holy like your Father. God did not create any sinner. Even the shaitan, Satan, he created as an angel. Imagine, angel. This is what my Bible teach. So you are ignorant, you do not know what you are talking about. You think that our God, he created us to be sinners, and then he will punish us for being sinners. That's false. That's absolutely false. You are just being a potato, my friend. You are the same as Muslims. They fabricate stories. They say, oh, Christians, you can do sin, and then you go to heaven. You go to heaven because Jesus paid for your sin. So you take you take the headline of a story and you make a new book about it. You see, our Lord actually, he don't want to punish any of us. It's us who want to punish ourselves. What the Bible says, the wage of sin is death. So who is forcing you to do sin? Who is forcing you to do sin? Are you enjoying how God created you? Why? You look like a monkey? I thought I am the only one who complained about how I look like. Sam, thank you very much, my friend. We are two now. I appreciate your support. Guys, this guy is saying, are you saying to me you appreciate how God created you? Why not? What if God, he decide to make you a cockroach? Which one you enjoy? Be honest with me. If God decide to make you a cockroach and you are agnostic, which means you're agnostic, God decide to make you a cockroach, not a human, which one you prefer? a cockroach with a Christian prince step on you and smash you and mash you, or a human being protected by the law of Joe Biden, peace be upon him, police upon his Hunter Biden? Are you there? You are silly, stupid. I mean, you see, don't force me to block you. Either you talk as an adult, mature, or you are a certified donkey. By sinner may mean evil. Well, this is your evil. Just get out of here, man. Guys, by sinner you mean evil. No, not evil. You are a good person when you rape a woman. Brother. Sin is not evil. A child molester is doing sin. This is not evil. Stupid idiot. Let me ask you a question. I blocked you already. So why they take you to jail? Not according to the God law, but according to the police law. Are you saying to me that my sin for not paying tax is evil? Ho ho. Don't get married. Your wife, she will leave you second day. Actually, first day. Because you will say to her, listen, what is my sin if I sleep with the other guy next room? Are you saying I am evil? Like your wife, she opened the door, she found you bent over, and there's a guy behind you hold you from your waist. You say to her, what's wrong with that? Are you saying what I did is evil? Just to show you how stupid those people are. They make law. If you say certain things, you go to jail. Just say it. They don't believe in sin. They don't believe in sin. If you say certain words, you go to hate speech. Yeah, put him in jail. So do you believe in sin or not? So what you did, potato, you changed what is sin for us and what is sin for you. So you think you don't believe in the same thing, but in fact you believe in the same word, but you give it a different name. Are you with me, people? Do you see how stupid hypocrite they are? They refuse the Bible, right? They have their own Bible now. So now they have their own things. If you say it, you are in trouble. So are you saying what I said is evil? So in our book, if you are a rapist, you are evil. In your book, if you are a rapist, you are not, according to you. But if you speak against homosexuality, you are evil. Your logic. In California, they are trying to teach people that having sex with kids is fine. It's the normal thing. You're not evil, right? We are the evil one. So what those people they do, they are the same as the Muslim. They change the title. They change, like the same crime. They give it a new name. And what is good, they give it a name of a crime. So the same in the time of the Roman. To be a Christian, just a Christian, believe in Jesus, is a crime. And what is the punishment? They put you to death. They feed you to animals. If you are a Christian preaching the gospel, go and see how many videos. You will be arrested. Not only in Islam countries, even in the West. So now they change the crime. They don't chase people who rob stores, people who rob jewelry stores, clothes store, Walmart. They are chasing Christians who preach in the gospel. So do you believe in sin or not? So now what is sin is not to steal, is not to do drugs, is not to grow marijuana, is not to smoke marijuana, is to preach the gospel. So they switch everything upside down. Hypocrite, coward. We spit at you. And then I'm going to take my spit and wash it with the laundry machine. And after that, I will put it in the sun to kill all the bacteria. Excuse me, I will use your agnostic God to cleanse my spit. Why does the Epic of Gilgamesh have similar narration in the Bible? You just get lost. The story of Gilgamesh is in the Quran and the Hadith, the fountain of youth, not in my Bible. You're an idiot. Same time, you can find in the Bible, like now, I'm teaching. So I answer people about Jesus, right? So I might mention electric car. Electric car. What does this have to do with Jesus? Do I worship electric cars? So we use what is known to people to make them understand what we are saying. So let us say I speak about Nabuchodonosor, or I speak about Alexander the Great. To make an idea clear, does that mean I appreciate Alexander the Great? Does that mean I approve him? People are stupid. And if you have something, if you're there, call me. Potato. Remember, we are a human. We live between a human. We are not coming from the sky. So those who live in the old days, they have history and culture. And that history and culture is going to be refutation or confirmation or disapprove of other culture. So a prophet of God, he can quote a good statement from a pagan person. Nothing wrong with that. As an example, let us say there's a man who is pagan. He don't believe in Jesus. He's an atheist. He said something right, something true. And people believe in it. People listen to him. I can quote him, for that is not against my belief. But I'm not quoting his paganism. I'm quoting the good he said. Anyway, you know, people, they can say whatever they want. But here we have, is rapist forgiven in your faith, or he will repent? Well, he have to be punished first. Then he repent or not, this is his business, because this is justice goes back to God. In your religion, it says, Allah forgive all sin except shirk, which means including rape. Everything is forgiven. In my book, the forgiveness at the end of the day is for God, it's not for me. So you are a rapist, you should be punished. It's not right not to be punished. You should be. If I am a king, I will hang a rapist from his balls. Literally. No mercy. In the best scenario, I will make him sit in a bar, and the bar will go from his anus, come out from his mouth. If I'm a king. And then if he want to repent, that is his business between him and the God who created him. He might forgive him, he might not. But he should be punished, especially if he rape a child. Rape is a very evil act, and that means you are lower than animals. So why I should treat you like a human? What is the point of forgiveness? Forgiveness cannot happen unless you are a person who forgive and you deserve forgiveness, which means you decide not to do sin no more. That is a condition to submit your application. However, the most important condition, beside repenting truthfully, is to believe in the Messiah, for he is your judge. So imagine you send the application to someone, you don't believe in him. So he will say to you, don't come to me. The Messiah said, knock at my door and I will open for you. And when you repent, you should fight your sin. So if you do sin today, and then you do the sin tomorrow, and then you repent the day after, and then you do it again, that means you are a fraud. And that means you are going to go to hell. Repent is not a game by saying Alhamdulillah 100 times as the stupid Muhammad said. Repent is someone repent, which means he go to do the act of good, and he promise and he do what he promise. Otherwise, that is not a repent. That is a fraud. You repent, you do what you promise. You say Alhamdulillah 100 times, and then Allah forgive you even if you sin one, more than the foam of the ocean, as you see in the screen. That is not in Christianity. Jesus said to the women who commit sin, go and sin no more. So if the same woman come back to the judge, which is Jesus, Jesus will send her to hell. The Messiah is not a tolerant person, as many people they claim. He is not. People will see the Messiah when he comes second time. You see people drawing a picture of Jesus sitting next to the sheep and hugging people. Well, this is Jesus the loving, who loved to save you. The image is not far from the truth. But the Messiah, when he comes back, is going to be not the same image, He will be the King of kings. He will be the Judge of judges. He will cast people to hell, and he will send people to heaven. So those who they are ready, this is why the Messiah spoke about the story of the virgins. The virgin is not about a female. The virgin is about people who claim to be virgins and people who they are virgins. There's people who claim to be virgins, but their lamp have no oil, which means they are fake, hypocrite, liars. And there is people who they are virgin for real, which mean truthful, honest, not wicked, and that make their lamp full of oil. So when the Lord comes at night, they light up their light, they say, Lord, we are here. And then the rescue will come. And those who have no oil in their lamp, they have a lamp, but there's no oil. So they are foolish, and that will be you. So this is how Christianity is. The Messiah make it clear to us that from their fruits you shall know them. The Messiah make it clear to us that faith without work is a dead faith. So you have faith in Jesus, but you are a hooker. You have faith in Jesus, but you are a pimp. You have a faith in Jesus, but you are a cheater. Obviously, you have no faith. You worship the Lord with your tongue, and you fornicate with your private part. Is it okay for a Christian to fail sometimes and fail into sin? I'm a Christian. My friend, I am not claiming to be the angel of God who have wings in my back. All of us, we do sin. However, there's a person who insists to do sin. He makes sin as lifestyle. And there's a person like a running horse. Running horse, who is a beautiful horse, powerful, strong. And then this horse Suddenly he fell. He hit a rock because he did not look very good, because he was not careful, because he did not pay attention. But if this horse, he fell down and he resist the temptation and he stand up and he go back from his heart, he want to be the good horse again. That is the Christian. If you are a person who justify your sin when you do it, you say, well, God made me do this. He created me like that. All of us, we are sinners. But don't justify it. And don't promote it. And don't teach it. And try your best to fight it. God knew your heart, and you cannot lie to him. So he knew really, are you fighting your own temptation? Are you struggling? Or you don't care? There's a huge difference between somebody doing his best to fight his sin and somebody he gives justification for all his sin. Same time, we believe that God is just. So who knows you better than him? Who knows your heart better? You can bring someone to court and there's 10 witnesses that he raped a woman, but maybe all of them they are liars. He will be sentenced. For a human being, he judged by the appearance. A human being, he say this man is handsome just because he look handsome. Appearance. But maybe he is the devil inside. Isn't it the Lord, he says, be aware of false teachers. They come to you in the clothes of a sheep, but they are wolves. So many of us, we clothe ourselves as a sheep, but inside we are wolves. That can work with a human, but will not work with God. God can see what is behind the skin. Your skin will not help you. Your clothing will not change you. So to understand the Christianity, you need to understand Christ. Christ, one of the reasons Christ came as a man to show you that you as a man, you can fight all kinds of sin. Did you ask yourself why Jesus, he went to the mountain and he fasted for 40 days? Do even he need to do that? Why? He's not a sinner. Why? He was asking for forgiveness. He was fasting so the Father will forgive him. No. Everything the Messiah he did is to teach us how you can be a man, same time following God. The excuse we have that I'm a man. I get tempted by sex, I get tempted by money, I get tempted by power, I get tempted wherever I go. I have eyes, I can see. But in the same time, you resist, you feel guilty, you feel wrong. You know when you do wrong. You know. Go watch on YouTube videos. A dog is a dog. He ate the cake. His master saying to him, you ate the cake. The dog, he sit in the corner, he hide his head. He knew. Even a dog, he knew is guilty. If you don't believe me, go watch it on YouTube. Animal, little tiny animal, who is limited in his brain. He's programmed. He knew when he is guilty. He hid under the bed. The owner, he came, he was chewing the pillow. Who chewed the pillow? The dog is under the bed. He didn't want to come out. So if a dog, he knew when he is guilty, why a human being will not? Are you with me? Are you saying to me a dog is better than you? Well, you know what? Many human dogs better than them. At the end of the day, everyone will go where he belongs. Everyone. Look at this dog. This dog, he commits sin. So I think he chewed the shoes or something, and now the master is saying, "You did that?" And look at the dog. It's a dog. It's just a dog. He knew he did wrong. He put his head down. He hid in the corner. He didn't want to look at the owner. When he is not guilty, he jump at you, and he is so excited because he knew now it's time for fun. But now the owner came back, and the owner is questioning what happened here. Who did this? The dog don't understand your language, really. He don't. But he do in the same time. He knew he did wrong. Look at this one. Look at this picture. Guilty dog. Maybe you should print those pictures and put them in your bedroom, so when you decide to do fornication, you know that a dog is better than you, even though he's a dog. Because you became so shameful to the point you don't feel shame no more. I hope I'm not being aggressive with my words, but I'm saying truthfully, I mean, this is how a human being is. They think he is better than animals. I mean, animals, they can have sense. They sense their guilt, and these days a human being don't feel it no more. These days a human being, he lives sin, he enjoys sin, he worships sin, he prays sin, he teaches sin. He printed in books, he give it to children to fool them too. Anyway, I think we have enough for today. I hope you guys, you did enjoy your time. Is beating your meat considered fornication? What does that mean? You know, sometimes I find that people who ask questions, they knew the answer, but they, I don't know, they want to be silly. You don't know really what is right, what's wrong. You need me to tell you what is wrong? Why, you have no brain? Is it good to play dumb and stupid? In fact, asking the question, that means you know what is wrong, what's right. Otherwise, you won't ask it. Like, why you don't ask me eating potato is wrong? Christian Prince, is eating potato is wrong? So when you ask the question, that means you know why you are asking the question, because you think it is wrong. So people play dumb. This is why I say sometimes, dumb is you. Dumb as it can be. I know what he meant. I try, because there's beating your meat in the Quran. You remember when Moses, he decided to resurrect the person from Allah told him to resurrect the person by beating him by a beef. So maybe he have a beef. He is trying to beat it. But the question itself is telling you that you know the answer, what is wrong, what's right. Otherwise, you won't ask it. Why you don't ask me, is it brushing my teeth, is it okay? Is it haram? The second a person, he questioned if it's wrong or not, that means he knew there is something wrong. Otherwise, you will not ask it. Are you with me? Yeah. A long time ago, I was a kid. So I love sweet. I really love sweet. I can eat like a tray of baklava without even drinking a cup of water. I can finish it all. Literally, I'm not joking. To make the story short, I ate the sweet they were making for, they have friends coming. So I ate it. At first, I decided to eat a little bit. I said, they will not even notice. So I took the first piece. And then I will take the second one. So anyway, I keep eating the third, the fourth, the fifth. And then I said, you know what? Already I took the half. And my mom, she will notice. So I decided to eat it all. And then I decide to leave and then come back at the end of the night. I did not even come until late. There's no light, and 3 floors building. There's no light, there's nobody. So I decide, I open the door, I walk slowly, and then my mom in front of me. Right away I said to her, I did not eat the cake. It's not me. It's not me. So your guilt is just like shiny on you, like like just take me. I am the guilty one. She's looking at me. She didn't say anything. She did not even say a word. I said, it's not me. She said, it's not you. What? I said, I did not eat the sweet. What sweet? In fact, the sweet we're hiding, they hide it from me. This is a different story. Like once, they hide the sweet from me. I smell the sweet. They cook it. Where the sweet? I look everywhere. I look at the top of the closet, in the closet, under the couches, in the bedrooms. I could not find it. And then after, I look everywhere in the house. Everywhere. From floor to floor. The smell is so strong. So there is a sweet. At the end, I said to myself, where is the place? I did not look. I look under the sink. I look everywhere. It was the laundry machine. And I went to the laundry machine and I opened the laundry and I found the treasure. And guess what? It have a paper in it. It says, please don't eat it. We have friends coming. We have visitors coming. Like big paper, big one. It says, please don't eat it. People are coming later. This is not for you. Anyway, so this is temptation, But I was a kid at that time. Anyway, so God, He leave for you such a paper. Says, don't eat it. Either you decide to eat it because you love to eat it, and it's not yours, and then there's a consequence. Now, in my case, okay, my mother, she loved me, so I know nothing will happen. And what about God? Will He love me? Oh, so nothing will happen? No, something will happen. The wage of sin is death. None of us deserve forgiveness. Like when we talk about repent, this is actually is not the reason for you to be forgiven. No. It's not the wages is death. That's it. The judgment is there. You don't deserve forgiveness. So you repent or not, you don't deserve it. You are going to be forgiven for God's love as a children's, not because you deserve it. So don't fool yourself and think, oh, I am good now, I repent. You committed the crime already. And you are not going to be forgiven because you repent. Even though you should repent, otherwise you will not receive forgiveness. But because of the love of God to His children, He will forgive you, not because you deserve it. There's a huge difference between you deserve it and then you will be given what you deserve. So if you talk about what you deserve, me and you and all of us, we deserve to go to hell. For we do, even in our mind, everything wrong. Well, he can talk about the great deceiver as he wish. You can get my book, the Quran and Science in Depth. The first 10 pages, I think, on the book, I focus in the word Makkar and Makir. So then you can show him. They can say whatever they want. For sure, a Muslim, he will defend the word Makkar. All right? Anyway, people, let us not to be like dogs. However, we can learn from dogs many good things. Number one, loyalty. Are we loyal? Are we loyal to our family? Are you loyal to your wife? Is your wife loyal to her husband? Is the children loyal to their father and their mother? Loyalty is very important. And dogs can beat many with that. Feeling guilt. If animals can feel guilt, why don't you? Protect your dignity. See, those animals, they protect territory. They protect their master. You are not a dog. And nobody's asking you to bite. But a person don't protect his faith. Don't practice his faith. And he is a faithful person by name. A dog is better than him. For at least he is loyal. Based on what he knew. So let us learn, because even little creatures can teach us good things. Even animals can teach us something good. Sadly, in these days, animals are better than many. I want to say thank you all for being here. Until I see you soon again, maybe tomorrow or the day after. God bless you. And feel free to download my videos, share it everywhere. And never ever be ashamed to defend your faith and to stand for it. For if you don't belong to it. The Lord, he said, the one who deny me, I will deny him. So you are in school and they insult the Bible, stand and expose them. Don't be violent. Expose them. They are bullying Jesus, get them busted. They are saying bad words to the Bible or to the Messiah. Don't sit like a mule. Either you are with him or against him. There's no so. The Bible says, either you are hot or cold, so I can swallow you. Warm water is disgusting. Either cold or hot. So which one is you? Take a side. Thank you. God bless you, and see you soon again. Bye-bye.